show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
The following content contains adult language and humor that is not suitable for viewers under the age of 18. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. The views and opinions expressed during the following video content are those of the individual and may not reflect those of others.
Pacific 4-1 for Pop Talk is here. Sit back and relax and join the conversation. We've got Baron, Norman, Tags, Cash Money, 007, and even Mike too. Pop culture, entertainment, news and reviews. Discussions are had, opinions made from the panel to the chat. Everyone is welcome here. Reactions, watch parties, and special guests. We like to have a good time. Pacific 4-1 for Pop Talk is underway. Pull up a seat, we're inviting you to stay. Articles, collectibles, reviews, you say. Baron, Cash, and Mike bring the fun tonight. Now sit back, relax, enjoy the show. Don't forget to like or comment below. We almost forgot to share out the show. Pacific 4-1 for Pop Talk is one of a kind. It's true. True. It's true.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome one and all to the Sunday edition of Pacific 4-4 Pop Talk, along with Cash Money 007. I am your host, Mike, and tonight we are going to be talking about Kathleen Kennedy stepping down from Lucasfilm after years of false alarms, rumors, speculation. She is gone. We are also going to be talking about an article from that Park Place where the Access Media is blaming review bombing for the score of Starfleet Academy. I watched part of the show as much as I could, and I couldn't get through the rest of it because it's hot garbage. We are also going to talk about an article from Geek Tyrant that has two of the writers from K-pop Demon Hunters prepared to write Tim Burton's take on Attack of the 50-Foot Woman. And of course, we are also going to talk about the Paramount Warner Brothers Netflix fiasco. And is President Donald Trump to the rescue? Or is Paramount prepared to sue Warner Brothers and Netflix for control of Warner Brothers? These stories and much more during this Sunday edition of Pacific 4-4 Pop Talk at its new time of 6 p.m. Eastern. As a matter of fact, all streams on Pacific 4-4 are now at 6 p.m. Eastern across the board, unless it's, of course, a Rumble Premium stream. Then I have to decide what time it's going to happen because of requirements over there. But of course, before we get underway with any of this, Cash, how are you doing?
Awful. No, I'm doing pretty good. I'm ready to fight and bring the fire.
Well, I hope you bring the fire that you had in the Discord the other night when we were talking about this.
Oh, I will.
Because Cash is fired up, folks. Fired up in the way that only Cash can be. Yes. Quite the interesting news that we got this week, especially Thursday with Kathleen Kennedy stepping down, and with the premiere of the latest Kurtzman Trek of Starfleet Academy. Like I said, it's hot garbage, but I also want to send a shout out to our good friend Baron Norman Tag. I hope you're doing well, brother.
Yeah, bro.
What's been going on between last night and today for you, Cash?
That music that just keeps playing is just tripping me out.
It's the original Pop Talk theme. It will remain on the show. This is my way of keeping it remaining. It'll play in the background when we start.
Okay, that's fine. Just not used to it. I'll
get used to it.
Just been messing around with the Messenger and playing Mega Bonk and trying to get better at that. Just testing out some more stuff and just seeing how things go with that. Looking for more games. Just working on getting back into figuring things out. Just nothing.
Nothing too exciting.
Nothing that exciting, but just reading some stuff all the time and just trying to pay attention to stuff. So I don't know. It's just but the Messenger so far has been fun, and I'm like, okay,
yep.
What did Mike
do that game, and the fact that it has a sense of humor.
It does, yeah. So my goal is to not die that much in that game. I made a few mistakes here and there, but not too bad. So
it's okay. It takes a little bit of a learning curve, but it has aspects of Ninja Gaiden and a few other.
Yes, it does.
8-bit classics.
Inspired by Ninja Gaiden. It's quite amazing what that game Ninja Gaiden did. I also watched a video about this black comedian. I don't know his name, but he was talking about how Street Fighter, there's no blood. You don't rip off someone's head. I couldn't stop laughing. But it's true. It's all true.
Yeah. Yeah.
He says they go to the fish market and then they want to fight and stuff. And then somebody said in the comments, well, that's why, you go to a 7-Eleven, there's an arcade machine. It was great. I was like, yeah, that's very true about Street Fighter 2. I agree. Very funny. So yeah, I watched that.
And I said Starfleet Academy was hot garbage, Helion. Mm-hmm. Hot garbage.
Hot garbage. But yeah, it's but yeah, Mega Bonk is pretty fun. So yeah. What's up, DJ Ronnie GGGG?
And we also have Tree Nog. We also have Prince Zaire.
Yep.
Along with Lord Crit of Everest Productions.
Yes. Oh, very good.
Good to see you all here. So, Cash, are you ready? Are
Yes.
you ready to get into the first story that I have lined up?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's go ahead and get into that first story, shall we?
All right.
As I line everything up. And here we go. Our first article of the evening is from Geek Tyrant, and it says K-pop Demon Hunters duo set to write Tim Burton's take on Attack of the 50-Foot Woman. What, is it going to star Sydney Sweeney as the 50-Foot Woman?
Maybe.
I wouldn't be opposed to that.
We need another remake for some reason. Okay.
Well, yeah, we need a remake of a remake of a remake.
Yeah.
All right, so this article was posted 6 days ago. It's by Joy Parr. And it says the creative team behind one of animation's biggest recent hits is leveling up in a big way. Dania Jimenez and Hannah McKinnon, the screenwriters who helped turn K-pop Demon Hunters into a global phenomenon, have landed their next high-profile project. The duo has been tapped to write the screenplay for Attack of the 50-Foot Woman, which is being reimagined with Tim Burton attached to direct and Margot Robbie starring. Okay, I'll take Margot Robbie. I don't know about anyone else, but
Not bad.
But they say it's a reimagining, and We've heard that word for far too long. It makes you go, oh no. At least it makes me go, oh no. The project is coming together at Warner Brothers Pictures, which brought Jimenez and McCann on board after the news of Burton's involvement surfaced in 2024. The film updates the 1958 sci-fi horror classic B movie, that's what it is, about a wealthy heiress who grows to a colossal size following an alien encounter and takes advantage on her unfaithful husband. Burton, whose filmography includes Beetlejuice and Mars Attacks, is also producing alongside Andrew Mitton and Tommy Harper. An earlier version of the script was written by Gillian Flynn. The production lineup is equally impressive. Lucky Chap, the company led by Margot Robbie, Tom Ackerley, and Josie McNamara, is producing and developing the film, with Morgan Begg overseeing the project as director of development. For Jimenez and McCann, the leap to a Tim Burton-directed studio feature follows a breakout run that started with K-pop Demon Hunters. The two met while attending Loyola Marymount University, later landing a script in the Sundance Feature Lab. It was there that fellow writer Nicole Perlman pitched the idea that eventually evolved into K-pop Demon Hunters, which they wrote alongside co-director Maggie King. Says here, we started writing that in 2020 during the pandemic. At first, we were like, this is going to be the biggest movie ever. And then as time passed, we were like, maybe it won't get made. Who knows? And then we were on set this summer and the trailer dropped and we were shocked. You don't really expect anything from this career. You're just grateful to get paid. And if something happens with it, that's great. Adam McCann, this was truly the first time where there was all this manpower behind it, and it felt like it was on track to be made. Since its release last summer through Sony Animation and Netflix, K-pop Demon Hunters had exploded into a worldwide hit. The film became Netflix's most watched movie of all time, while its soundtrack smashed records on the Billboard 200. It's also earned 3 nominations at this year's Golden Globes, including Best Animated Motion Picture, Best Original Song, and Cinematic and Box Office Achievement. Now, with Attack of the 50-Foot Woman in their hands and Burton shaping the vision, Jimenez and McCann are stepping into the kind of genre playground that feels perfectly suited to their offbeat instincts. And this is from the writer. It's a cool pairing of a classic sci-fi surreal style and rising screenwriting talent, and it'll be exciting to see just how massive this new take becomes. All right, so Cash, what are your thoughts?
Well, 50-Foot Woman, good grief. Have I even ever watched that movie? Some of these films. Whenever I hear words reimagine, even if people like Tim Burton is part of this stuff, I just go, can't you guys just do something else? Really? Why do we need to always continue to do this? Either movies that don't need to be continued on, or remakes that just don't need to be made. Just watch the original and remaster it. I don't really understand these decisions. What it comes down to is, I believe, though, Mike, is it's for the new audience.
The modern audience.
Are they going to have the same jokes, though, as the remakes? Are they going to have the same this? Are they going to have the same that that we've seen before? It doesn't make any sense to me. Anything that I've seen lately where they're like, let's do a reimagine or let's do this, let's make the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles look like they're on steroids. That's awesome in a live action movie. That's great. What a great idea. I don't understand. Can't Tim Burton do something else? I'm still disappointed even after all these years when Tim Burton did Alice in Wonderland. I wanted the Alice that I saw from the game, not that Alice. And it just wasn't very good. I never cared to watch Dumbo. I remember they're like, we're going to take the crows out. And I was like,
because
no.
they were quote unquote offensive.
Right. It's just it's just old and tiresome and just ridiculous. So yeah. Sometimes it does work. Sometimes it does.
Kurt's got a point.
How to Train Your Dragon did. It's just it wasn't bad. It did. I don't still think it needed to be made, but I just a lot of this stuff really they just don't care enough. No, not Alice from Sword Art Online. Alice in Wonderland. They did that live action movie, and they did 2 of them, I think, actually, if I remember. I didn't see the second one. It wasn't the Alice I wanted. The Alice I wanted is from the Clive Barker, right? I think that was one, yeah. From the games where she like goes to a mental institution and she's running around with a knife. I thought it was very interesting and creative. But no, we don't get that version of Alice on screen. No.
And we won't. And yeah, a lot of remakes don't live up to the original because they don't have the same creative talent. Because Hollywood lacks that creative talent nowadays. Why do you think we're getting all these reboots, remakes, reimaginings of established franchises?
All the time. It never stops. And fine, you can look, some of this stuff is going to keep continuing. We're going to get Ice Age 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15, 18. No,
Ice Age 1000.
Really, yeah.
Okay, maybe I'm exaggerating, but not by much.
The thing is, if people still want to do it, but it's just like, look, I saw that horrible Lightyear movie. That was awful. And the reason I saw it is my brother's like, let's go watch it. It was terrible. Especially as a Pixar film of all things. It was the plot, and it wasn't so much even the agenda in the movie. It was everything else. This is just always another example of a film that either doesn't need to be made or go in a better direction. It's just a lot of these. Look, I even tried that Naked Gun movie, and I know Crit being in here, he liked it, and that's fine. It's fine if you like this. Really, I tried the Dungeons and Dragons film.
I tried getting into that too, Cash, and I couldn't do it. And I told Baron about that.
They ruined things. The Paladin was more interesting than a lot of the characters. The Bard or the Minstrel, he was the leader of the group, but it wasn't like the Minstrel like you see in the game if you played A Bard's Tale with the cockiness and the other stuff. It was like, oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done this, crew. Why did I do this? That kind of stuff. Just missing the mark on things. And Hugh Grant was like the best thing about that movie besides
the only good thing about that movie.
I know. Except the Paladin, because he wasn't in it much, but when he was on screen, it was like, oh, this has actually added something. They were trying to do something. I give them some credit, but it wasn't working. They could have done more of a campy thing that we've seen in the past. And this is it just keeps going in layers all the time, all the time, never stops. And so and guess what? These movies aren't doing well. Then you have films like Transformers 1, and however you feel about that movie, poor marketing where they first showed the trailer. How can you
Paramount
guys do
and
this
Hasbro
stuff?
all the way?
Yes. How can you do this stuff? So then you get into this whole thing. Oh, well, who should own Warner Brothers? Even with Skydance and Paramount together or Netflix, how about we get another studio that's able to actually own them, buy them, care about the property? I'm supposed to trust Netflix to care about Warner Brothers or Paramount?
But can we
Skydance,
trust any of the
seriously?
studios nowadays, Cash? Do
No,
any
I
of them
want
actually care about their own properties?
exactly. It's crazy, man. And so let's just keep making remakes because it's safe, right? It's safe. I would love these people to continue to come out and say, we're making this because it's safe. We're remaking this because it's safe. We're doing this because it's safe. Are we not, as human beings, supposed to continue to push things?
We are, but
It's
we
so
haven't done so in
crazy.
the last
No,
10 years.
it's just crazy. So I don't really understand. It's just straight. Pixar though has not fallen as far as Disney. But they need to also go back to some of the great things that they did and stop worrying about this. Just tell Disney, hey, fuck off. Okay? We're gonna make you money. And if there's any problems, you can get involved. But until then, screw off. But these companies, they just, even though they're owned by them, they don't seem to have get more of a backbone. Because guess what? Companies like Pixar actually was lost by Disney before, and then Disney's like, "We're sorry. Here's money." Just like the Tim Allen thing. We're sorry, Tim. Here's money. I never got into Wednesday Crit, so I can't really say much about that.
And Tree Rock says creative. What talent? What is talent nowadays?
But Tree Rock, they don't even come out and say, hey, you know what? We're going to really try to do something different. We're going to really, there's still a few people, but it's more the old guard. It's more of the old guard. It's not a lot of these new people. Let's do something different. Let's add something to Batman that hasn't been added that actually makes sense. Let's do that. So it's just, even the last Batman film, it's like everything, until, like I said, I will, when Baron comes back, I want to show Mike and Baron the Penguin, because the thing is, it had a lot of things that we don't see anymore. Characters we care about, this and that, all this stuff over and over again. And we just keep going in a circle. But now it's like, oh, let's remake the 50-foot woman. Let's remake this. Why don't we do the Rise of the Ants or whatever? The giant ants. I can't remember exactly the title of that. Let's redo that. These movies were fun.
Nobody's trying to do a remake of The Blob.
Right. But I will tell you some things that they will never touch because they don't have the balls to do it. They will never touch Citizen Kane because they can't figure it out. No. They'll never touch that. Never.
They don't have the talent to figure it out, Cash.
They just won't. But I would like some new people to come out and say, we're going to do this. Like, people, I didn't think there needed to be a Wonka film, but I guess people liked it. And Timothy Chalamet is a draw for people.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, some of these remakes, they can happen. Some of these films from video games can happen, but they have to do it right. I mean, it's time for us to finally get a quality Street Fighter movie. I mean, I guess Mortal Kombat's going in a pretty good direction, but
and I make no apologies when I say this. The trailer for the new Street Fighter movie,
right,
it doesn't look any good.
Yeah, I have a feeling there's just too much goofiness and too much crazy.
And let's also admit it. In that '94 Street Fighter movie, the only good part of it was Raul Julia.
He was the best. There have been a few remakes and there have been a few adaptations that actually were really good. The first Silent Hill adaptation was very good. I didn't watch the second movie. The first Resident Evil movie I thought was pretty good. I just didn't continue. I tried to. They started changing too many things and I'm like, I'm out. I get it. It was a lot. They wanted to go in a more action direction, but they had the chance right there to just add on to the story of the games right there. So they started changing some things. They got some things right, but we've had two Street Fighter films. Both of them did. The other one had a Chun-Li who wasn't even Asian. I mean, it doesn't matter. And the best thing about it, Neil McDonough. Well, Neil McDonough's a quality actor, but he was the best villain in that movie. So if you watch it for him. Just like Raul Julia with Street Fighter. Yes, they should. That's exactly what they should do, Crit. They don't do it. I don't know why. They should just continue on with the anime. The animated movie, right. Just continue with that.
And Helion has a question. Have y'all enjoyed any of the remakes? No, I haven't.
Not many. There's only a few that were good. So that just still worked. They changed a few things, but it worked. It's Rat Race, I thought was pretty good. I don't know if that was more of a takeoff of. I guess that was somewhat of its own movie, but it's felt a lot like the old classic.
And go ahead and say, well, Mike, you're just being negative because you haven't enjoyed any of the remakes. I'm not being negative. You ask a question, I'm giving you an answer. I haven't enjoyed any of the remakes, especially that RoboCop 2014. All they did was talk. Robo-talk. That's what it was.
Total Recall was
Total Recall was a disaster, in my opinion.
That was PG-13, and they don't need to do this. There's even the last Die Hard film. Like, the thing that kept it going for me was, of course, McClane. It wasn't his son. His son was terrible in that movie. It just, I don't know. They just, a lot of the stupid conversations, I remember they're in the car or something. It just wasn't good. But McClane was fine. And yeah, they can make this stuff work, but they have to understand that it has to continue on with the whatever this franchise used to be, and continue on with the characters. Continue on. That's why stuff like Lethal Weapon just worked, because it was the same people, and they brought in villains, and they had the same humor, and they said the characters, and everything just made sense. So every one of those movies, I would say 1 through 4 were all either 2 is great, 1 is very good, 3 is very good, 4 is good. They're all very good films, just like Back to the Future. Just, they if they do this stuff right and they really put the time into it, they can get it. But look at what we're getting now. We've got, finally, after all these years, another He-Man film. But they don't want to be on Eternia. Why?
That's a question I've been asking myself since
especially
this new one was announced. No. It's the question I'm going to keep asking, even when you see a trailer. If you ever see a trailer, it's supposed to be coming out this year, and we haven't seen Diddley Squad as far as the trailer is concerned. Maybe around the Super Bowl we'll see something. Don't know.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So it's She-Man now, sad, yeah. And it might be. And it just might be. And it's like, it's just, all this stuff is just, it's just crazy to me. They have this already built up from the anime, the books, the novels, the other. And what do? They don't want to follow it. Why? Or add on to it. Why? It's already established. Oh, right. Source material. Excuse me. So let's do more remakes.
Speaking of remakes or continuations, bastardizations, whatever you want to call it, let's continue with the same topic, but on something that came out on Thursday.
Right.
This next article comes from That Park Place, and it says Access Media blames review bombing as Star Trek Starfleet Academy audience scores plummet. They go back to the same old song and dance. People don't like it. Well, they're misogynist. There is O's, Yahtzees, whatever. It's review bombing. No, it's because the show genuinely sucks. I couldn't even finish the fucking episode. I couldn't, Cash.
I understand. I get it.
I had to turn it off. I was trying to give it a watch so I have something to stand on, a base to stand on. When it comes to talking about the show, what I saw, it wasn't entertaining. It wasn't Star Trek, that's for sure. And it hasn't been Star Trek for the last 9 years of Kurtzman crap.
Funny.
And this was just posted today on That Park Place, and it's by Marvin Montanaro. And it says, Hollywood's media class has a familiar response whenever a high-profile franchise release fails to resonate with audiences. The problem isn't the show, it's the fans. That's right, Tree Rock, Crit, Lady Mist, Phil, Helion, Tree Nug. It's our fault. Then that narrative is once again being deployed following the debut of Star Trek Starfleet Academy, as multiple outlets rush to dismiss overwhelmingly negative audience feedback as so-called review bombing. Is it really review bombing when you show the first episode live on YouTube and all I can get is 1,300 views? Live views at that? Is it really review bombing? Is it really review bombing when Nerdrotic can put a Spock figure on a live stream and get more views?
It's true.
Than this drivel. What does that tell you about a modern entertainment? Tells you it sucks. It tells you it absolutely sucks. It shouldn't be hauling garbage. It should be hauled away at garbage. The trouble with tribbles. Best quote. Okay, there are a few others. But no, I couldn't. It was. It was. I mean, Holly Hunter, she may be an Academy Award winning actress, but she's miscast in this. Oh, let's throw a throwaway line for the Doctor from his first appearance in Caretaker. Tricorder? Medical tricorder. Yeah, we've heard that before. I want to learn, what the Doctor's experienced since last time we saw him in Endgame on Voyager. But we're not going to get that information.
No.
It says, rather than holding up a magnifying glass to see why the latest Star Trek entry is being rejected by a significant portion of viewers, a significant portion of Star Trek fans, because you go on X, you go on Facebook to any Star Trek group, and there's a good amount of people who are Star Trek fans who do not like this, who do not like Kurtzman Trek. And it says that with this being rejected by a significant portion of viewers, the focus has shifted to questioning the legitimacy of the audience response itself. The result is another case study in the growing disconnect between professional entertainment media and the consumers they claim to represent and serve. Hollywood is so out of touch. I mean, whenever you see an actor or actress on the red carpet spouting their latest and greatest cause that they only found out about maybe hours before the red carpet, it makes you wonder how educated these people actually are.
Mm-hmm.
A widening critics audience divide. As of this writing, Star Trek Starfleet Academy holds an 87% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes. Its audience score, however, is at 43%. Ooh, that is not good.
Yeah, not so good.
No. A 44% disparity between critics and viewers is not a rounding error or a statistical anomaly. It is a fundamental split in perception. It's because the show isn't written well. The characters aren't likable. They're annoying. They try to be cute. They try to be funny. I don't want cutesy and funny in Star Trek. And if it is there, do it in the Star Trek way.
That's right.
Star Trek has moments of humor. I mean, a piece of the action had moments of humor between Kirk and Spock, especially as they're trying to drive a car. But it was Star Trek humor. You can hear Baron and I talk about this when we were talking about a piece of the action on The Adventure Continues. This pattern has become increasingly common across modern franchise entertainment. Projects are frequently praised by critics during tightly controlled press cycles. It's because the critics don't want to lose their credentials. The critics stay on the good side of Paramount.
They're the same as them. Even I understand they don't want to lose their credentials, but it all fits. The same kind of articles come out from the media that come out from a lot of these celebrities and these other people. It's the same crap. It's just they're all tied together like a big giant trash can.
They are. And it also goes to a point where, you know, someone says, well, I'd rather hear what a professional reviewer has to say about something than listen to one of you guys. Well, with a professional reviewer, they're a paid shill. They're going to shill out for this particular show. Again, to keep their credentials, to make sure that they get to go to future screenings of movies and shows.
It's not that. They all think the same way. So, you know,
it's an echo chamber.
Crazy. Yep. That's all it is.
And it says only to encounter skepticism or outright rejection once they reach the general public. Instead of acknowledging that disconnect, the industry increasingly frames dissent and suspect. The assumption appears to be that audiences must be acting in bad faith if their opinions differ too sharply from those of professional reviewers. Well, I may not be a professional reviewer, but I know what I like in my entertainment. I know I like good character growth, good stories to go along with that good character growth. A good story arc always helps.
Yep, it does. Yeah. The problem with that Park Place, though, that I've seen, of course, they're like, oh, well, you know, our articles are so good that I want you guys to start paying. Well, I mean, they have a right to do that, but
But they're not the only ones doing that, Cash.
Nope, they are not. Bound in the Comics has done that. But you will also notice, even with these sites that are more on the right, too, they change things, too, that are stupid. They do. So, you know, they're not. But I would definitely say a lot of the mainstream media, even from the IGNs, the PC gamers, all these other different ones, are all have people that are definitely on the more left side of things. Many things. And hello, Lady Miss.
It is good to see everybody here today. And it says review bombing as a narrative shield. The term review bombing originally referred to organized efforts to artificially manipulate review sources, often disconnected from the content itself. In recent years, however, it has been repurposed into a catch-all explanation for audience dissatisfaction. Hey, you know what? If I go to a restaurant and I'm not satisfied with the service and the food I get, I might give that restaurant another chance because maybe it was an off day. But if it continues to happen every time I go there, I'm going to stop going.
Exactly.
It says where viewers respond negatively in large numbers, the label is applied reflectively. It says even when there is no evidence of coordination, automation, or external campaigns, in practice, it functions less as an analytical conclusion and more as a rhetorical shield. We've seen this exact scenario play out with many progressive studio projects from Snow White and the Marvels to Stranger Things and The Last of Us. Yeah.
Yes.
Fans didn't like the ending of Stranger Things. They didn't like it at all.
No, many of them did not.
Of course, I only watched season 1 of The Last of Us. I couldn't do it by the end. It's like, no, I'm not watching season 2. Screw that. By framing criticism as malicious, outlets are able to avoid more uncomfortable questions whether franchise fatigue has set in. whether creative decisions are alienating longtime fans. Well, I think you nailed the point right there, Montanero, by saying creative decisions are alienating longtime fans, because the creative decisions with Kurtzman Trek have done exactly that. I know there are people who like season 3 of Picard, but there were still many issues with that particular season. Cash heard it from me. Crit heard it from me when we were watching in Discord.
Yep. We all.
Or whether. Oh yeah, I did. I still do.
Me
Or
too.
whether modern iterations are failing to justify their existence beyond brand recognition. Audience-only platforms tell the same story. The claim that audience backlash is artificial becomes even harder to sustain when looking beyond critic-driven platforms. On Criticless, a site that measures only audience sentiment and excludes professional reviewers entirely, Starfleet Academy currently holds an 8% heinous rating, the platform's lowest classification. Ooh. Not only is this being hauled away as garbage, it's being pushed out of the airlock. And I'm going to go ahead and put the link to that site in there if anybody would care to take a look at it. There we go. It goes on to say that the score reflects unfiltered viewer reaction, free from studio access, embargoes, screenings, or industry incentives. It suggests not confusion or manipulation, but a strong and consistent rejection of the product itself. That's what we need. We need to hear from actual people like us, who will actually take the time to sit down and watch a show or watch a movie and give our honest opinions. When multiple independent platforms point in the same direction, dismissing them all as bad faith actors becomes increasingly implausible. Well, they don't like it that people are going out in droves praising the series to high heavens. That's what they don't like. The YouTube premiere undermines the claim entirely. Paramount Plus also released the premiere episode of Starfleet Academy for free on YouTube, a move presumably intended to broaden exposure and generate goodwill. But at the time of writing, the official YouTube upload shows approximately 5,800 likes compared to more than 17,000 dislikes. Again, 17,000 dislikes. What does that tell you, Cash? What does that tell you, anybody?
There's some
major issues with the show.
We're having issues here. Battle stations.
Captain, the warp core is going critical. That translates to a dislike ratio of roughly 74.6%, meaning nearly 3 out of every 4 reactions are negative. This metric matters because YouTube reactions are immediate and low friction. Viewers do not need to write reviews, register accounts on specialty sites, or coordinate messaging. They simply react to what they've watched. A response that lopsided is not easily dismissed as manipulation. Audience fatigue is not a conspiracy. The simplest explanation remains the most credible. A significant portion of the audience watched Starfleet Academy and didn't like it. Yep, right here. I know I keep saying it, but I didn't like it. Years of uneven franchise output have eroded goodwill, and new entries are now judged more harshly, not out of malice, but out of exhaustion. When a series arrives carrying familiar creative sensibilities that viewers have already rejected elsewhere, skepticism is a rational response. Treating that skepticism as an attack only deepens the divide. What the media still refuses to confront. The real story is not that Starfleet Academy has been review bombed. It's that the large segments of the audience no longer trust the media narratives surrounding major franchise releases. No, we don't. We've lost our faith in the news media, whether it's entertainment news media or current events. In any aspect of the media, we've lost confidence in them because they keep spinning narratives. Audiences are not obligated to agree with critics. They're not required to embrace a show because it aligns with industry-approved messaging or branding strategies. And they are not acting in bad faith simply because their reaction disrupts a carefully managed press cycle. No. Individuals like Jeff Sparks, Lady Miz, Talion, Tree Rock, Tree Nug, anybody who happens to be listening and watching right now are capable of making up their own minds when it comes to a movie or TV series. We don't need someone to tell us what our opinion should be. When a critic's audience scores, fan-only platforms, and even YouTube reaction data all point in the same direction, the accusation of review bombing starts looking more like denial than analysis. Yeah, they are in denial. They are in denial because they're thinking that their Star Trek is the greatest Star Trek ever made, that it wraps itself around the ideals of Star Trek, when all it does is put up a middle finger to the previous shows, previous iterations, and take a big dump on the carpet. That is Star Trek. It says whether the industry chooses to acknowledge that reality remains to be seen. Do you think Star Trek Starfleet Academy is the victim of review bombing? No. I think fans have had enough. We've had enough for quite a long time, and we're saying no more. We're sending a message to the current owners of Paramount in Skydance, David Ellison, saying no more of this shit. We don't want any more of this shit. Bring back good Star Trek. Bring back good Doctor Who. I know Paramount has nothing to do with Doctor Who, but the point I'm making is that we are tired of this drivel. Give us thought-provoking Star Trek like we used to have.
Nope. Please. They don't care, though.
No, they don't.
Their mindset is all on other dumb shit. And then they want to blame other people. This is the same thing with review bombing of games, review bombing of this, review bombing of that. I don't just always believe. Sometimes, yeah, can fans be stupid just like these companies? Absolutely. But, you know, if there's legitimate concerns and people are people review bomb things for stupid stuff. And then the media some of the media goes, oh my gosh, I can't believe they did this. But other times that they review bomb is probably justified because there's just problems. And people do not like that. Now, giving a show a 1 or a 2, and yeah, I mean, there's all been there's even popular stuff. This game is shit. This movie is shit. This is shit. And
yeah,
it's like, okay, well, why?
I mean,
why is this good? Why is this shit?
Let's talk about Dispatch real quick.
Yeah.
Some people don't like Dispatch. They think it's shit. I like Dispatch because, one, it introduces you to your main character, Robert Robertson.
Right.
Lets you know exactly what kind of situation he's in, what kind of life he's lived up to that point. Puts him in a situation where he's no longer Mecha Man anymore, and he has to do another job.
Right.
In order to fill in that void. But even then, you learn that they are going to try to rebuild his suit so he can be the hero that he's meant to be, like his grandfather, his father, were before him. And he gets a team of misfits that he has to basically mold and shape into a team.
And if you don't like that type of Telltale type style gameplay, then fine. Like, that's a legitimate argument. I can't say it's not. If you don't like the stuff like the Souls-like, you don't like that combat, I feel that's a legitimate argument. Some people just don't, and I get that.
Yeah.
It's
understandable.
But when you come in or you feel that it doesn't matter who it is, and people are like, this is shit, that shit, this could be shit, or this is amazing, tell people why. This is also the problem. It's like, tell people why that this is shit or not shit or whatever. I mean, why has Dispatch won awards lately? Because people like it, and not just critics. There's also fans that like it too. Yes, I know there's some people that say the writing is crap and it's TikTok this or whatever. I've seen some comments. Fine. Did those people actually play the game? Who knows? But
one of my critiques of Starfleet Academy is it trying to be cutesy and funny, where the humor doesn't work. Having a cadet say that she ate her comm badge, that's not funny. If these current people in charge of Star Trek even took time to watch Star Trek prior to their slop, they would have learned in season 2 of Next Generation, in particular, that Starfleet only accepts the best and the brightest. Exactly. You have to go through an acceptance test to make sure that you can handle pressure before you even accept it into the academy.
That's right. That's the whole thing. And so it's just, that's why you have every right to ask them questions. What do you know? What do you know about this franchise? Okay, you're ahead of it. What do you know? What have you read? So what exactly have you read? And if they can say, or they want to be like, oh, I'm not going to answer these questions, that says a lot. A lot.
Yeah. Well, saw an interview with the actress playing this Jem'Hadar. Went on hybrid, and she was saying that it's 800 years in the future, people. It's evolution. Evolution takes thousands of years.
Yes.
So are you telling me that a genetically engineered, genetically created species that the Jem'Hadar are, it was established on Deep Space Nine, evolved to where they had, male and female chromosomes? No. Jem'Hadar are bred to only be male. They are bred to fight. They are bred to war.
Yes.
They are not bred to be male and female. And for the actress to say that she watched Deep Space Nine, well, apparently he didn't pay attention to particular episodes in the 4th season, as a matter of fact, where the Federation and the crew of Deep Space Nine, the Defiant, teamed up with the Jem'Hadar to look for a gateway.
Yep.
And it's said by one of the Jem'Hadar, there are no males.
And the thing is, like, you go to a convention and you pay money, and you're paying good money. You're supposed to, for a really good experience, and you start talking to these people. You're there to ask a question about the panel, ask a question, to the panel, and you say, hey, you know what? I'm just curious, like, what do you guys actually know about Trek? Because, like, a lot of this, and so they couldn't take it. They want people to kiss their ass. That's what they want a lot, and it's just pathetic. It really is. I still remember years ago. It's definitely, my brother and I went to like a theater, and even back then we were listening to a panel of Lost, and it was interesting. But because my brother and anybody else who sat up in the balcony and didn't pay more, they don't get to ask a question. That doesn't mean you go on, social media, and you can, but even at that time or whatever, some website or whatever, and say this is not fair, but because they didn't pay more money, they don't get to ask a question. It's so ridiculous. And what was one of the questions even back then? And we're talking about years ago, something about the LGBTQ community. And it's so ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so ridiculous. And it's just, this is what these people focus on. And this is, it's just crazy to me. So I don't think it's worth it. If you're a person who wants to ask questions and say, what do you know, and test their knowledge, I don't think with some of these panels it's worth it. I really don't. I think with other people it is. I think asking questions like, what is your favorite character? Just to see what these people actually know.
What was your favorite moment from your time on the show?
Exactly. Those are good questions. But, it's hard to not want to be sarcastic to these people, not ask them, test their knowledge, do those gotcha things, just like a lot of our news does to other people. I just think that it's a problem, and it shouldn't be. You should be able to ask, especially if you've been waiting for like a few days just for this panel, and you want to ask your question, and the way that they treat you, it says a lot. So it's really something. Not all these people do that, but if these people really care about their character, like they claim and there are people who still do, but if you don't like what's going on with Trek, I will tell you this right now: do not waste your time going on one of these panels and trying to get an answer from them, because you're probably not going to get the answer that you like, and that's okay. But
no, I mean, Robert Picardo, who was on Voyager, had come out and said Star Trek has always been woke.
Yeah.
And no, it hasn't. It's always been thought-provoking.
Right.
It's always presented multiple sides to a conflict, an issue, not just one side.
Yep.
It is left it up to the viewer to decide: did Kirk do the right thing? Did Picard do the right thing? Did Sisko, Janeway, Archer do the right thing in this episode? Mm-hmm. And Star Trek has also talked about medical advances in prior shows.
Yes.
And with those medical advances, because I'm also addressing Jet Sparks' question here, there are diseases that have been cured in Star Trek's future. And, illnesses that were thought to be
dialysis.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, you bring up a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. McCoy comes across that woman in Star Trek 4 when they're in the hospital.
Yes.
And he asks her what she's suffering from. And she says kidney dialysis. And McCoy's all, kidney dialysis? What is this?
Mm-hmm. The Dark Ages or something, yeah.
Yeah. And he gives her a pill. He says, take this. If you have any questions, just call me. And then a few moments later, we get the payoff to that short little scene where the doctors and nurses are astounded that this woman no longer has any kidney issues.
No.
And, Star Trek was always about medical advances. And Kirk in Star Trek 2, well, he's allergic to a procedure called Retinox 5, which helps repair your retinas so you can see with 20/20 vision. Well, Kirk was allergic to it. Well, this series, Starfleet Academy, is supposed to take place 800 years. Don't you think they would have come up with another process that was even better than Retinox 5 that maybe someone like Kirk wouldn't have been allergic to, but unfortunately Kirk is gone, but other people have been able to benefit from? And they think it's funny. Oh, yeah, let's put in this gag where Holly Hunter's captain puts on glasses.
Watch Holly Hunter and a lot of other stuff.
Yeah.
Okay,
I don't like her in this. I don't. I think she's miscast.
Mm-hmm. So, It's always what they do is they want to make fun of this, but they just want to insult the old fans, and they've made that clear, very clear, that they don't care what a lot of the old fans think about any of these franchises. And guess what? These fans are the one who built these franchises. Without them, they don't continue. They don't live on.
No. Why do you think I want to continue doing the Adventure Continues, where we look at a specific episode from any of the series, the 6 series that were on during 1966 and 2005?
Yep. And then
to bring light to good Star Trek, what it's supposed to be.
Right. And you get other
fans. Go ahead,
fans.
say I'm gatekeeping.
You get other fans that will say, "Oh, you're asking for too much. Why are you asking for because we've had this already. So why do you think other fans are asking for too much? Why do they think they're asking to honor what came before this and continue this with the characters?" But you get the people, they're like, "Oh, well, we'll just make this Trek the way we want." Great. But if it's not popular, it doesn't sell, then what happens? Oh, let's blame the fan base. Let's call them names. Let's call them this. Yeah, that just makes people mad.
It's Tim's fault. It's Jed Sparks' fault. Right. It's Tree Nug's fault. It's Lady Miss's fault.
Right.
It's Tree Rock's fault. It's Crit's fault. It's Phil's fault.
Right. Yeah.
It's Helion's fault. It's Cash's fault. It's my fault. None of these series are succeeding. No, it's not our fault at all. No. We all know what we like in our entertainment. And if we're not being entertained, we're going to say so. We're going to tell our friends, families, and neighbors, don't go see that. It sucks.
That's right.
Or even if we had lukewarm interest in something and maybe it was okay, we're going to tell them it was okay, but we're also going to tell them, especially in this day and age, wait for it to come on streaming.
Yeah.
It's not worth paying the price at a movie theater to go see it. It's not worth subscribing to these streaming services to watch.
Yep. And some of these movies that are still coming out today, they just want to lecture you like you're a bad person or you're a good person, you're this, but the lecture is so idiotic. Instead of you just having the information there and letting you think about this, maybe this side, maybe that side. So people that care about that and really want to make you think, which is like the point, or it should be, especially of these other shows, then that's what they should do. But they can't do that. You can go back to anything that made you think, even goofy stuff there, here and there, like Power Rangers. There's still heart. They're still about friendship. There's just these things that just make sense.
There are lessons being taught in shows like Power Rangers.
Go back and watch like an old cartoon, like
He-Man and the Masters of the Universe always had the PSAs
about what they went through and this and that. These are people that want, and yes, I get it, the talent's not there, this and that, but it's also the arrogance, it's the narcissism that continues, that doesn't stop. It's just really ridiculous. So they just want to keep putting it. Oh, look at this joke. Look at this goofy humor. Look at this bathroom joke that was never about this franchise. And people go, "Oh, isn't that funny? Because it's for a kids' movie." You're going to tell me these kids are idiots? So you want to make them less?
Kids are idiots.
Yeah.
Because if kids are idiots, then back in '73 they wouldn't have had Star Trek the Animated Series.
Right.
They didn't dumb it down because it was an animated series. It was still Star Trek through and through.
Go back and that's why whoever takes these things over, this is why even people, if you were a fan of, say, Kim Possible, and how good, and if you're like, you want to see good writing, that show has very good writing. Funny moments, people they brought in to voice these characters. And but the consensus was that when they did the live action film of Disney, it wasn't the same. And I know some people because they grew up with this and they wanted to try it, and it wasn't the same. Yet, if you watch some of this other stuff, Sweet Life, and why these things can also be popular, it's the writing, it's the characters, it's the jokes, it's the the situations. Yeah.
And Treelock, if you swallowed your communicator, I'm afraid to say that you're not Starfleet material.
It's just like if you wanted to say, be like a stand-up comedian, there is a treasure trove of things to make fun of. And the people that are offended, that means that's a good thing, because comedy can be offensive. And so that's why, like, if Mike, for example, he wants to show something like Blazing Saddles, somebody's going to downvote him. Why? Because they don't like that movie. That movie is offensive. How dare you? Why would you do this?
How dare you do a watch party of that offensive movie? I mean, there are people that aren't going to like Nuremberg, especially when it shows actual footage from the trial and also from the concentration camps.
Right. No.
But it's a part of history, and it's a part of history that needs to be talked about.
Exactly. And the people that are also working on this, even with these franchises, they don't care because it doesn't fit their narrative. And they have made it very clear that how dare you insult something that I made? Oh, you mean something that you added on to? Let's be clear about this.
Did they add on to it for the better, though, Cash?
No, of course not. Because if they did, they would have made a lot of fans happy. And you should never go out of your way to make everybody happy. But you can make a lot of your fan base happy. Why is stuff like Half-Life, even after all these years, so memorable? I wonder. Why are people still playing it after all these years? Mike just found it recently, doing his first playthrough. Why is it? Because it's really fucking good. That's why.
I may be cursing during the whole time I'm playing it, but
yes. But Gordon is
if I wasn't having fun with the game,
right? The doctors matter. Everything fucking matters in that game. Everything. Every fucking thing matters. Yep. Why is stuff like Django Unchained? It's not because there's a situation where they're talking a lot about, the black people in this, because there's actually white people that care about black people. Even back in those days, there were. What? That can't be true. What about all this Jim Crow and all this stuff? I'm just making the point that a lot of this new entertainment, and that's why people have gravitated to anime and stuff, because there's a lot of stories in there that people want to see. The characters. There's still people, though, that care about what is going on. There's still a few people, but once again, it's the older guard. But I think people like Timothée Chalamet that I've seen, he cares about really putting in good performances, and that's what you need. If we're going to have these younger generations bringing in people like the Donald Sutherlands and all these other different people who are great, then you need that passion. So, no.
I always laugh when I hear somebody say, we're more diverse now than you guys ever were in the 80s and 90s. Funny. You look at last night's episode that we watched and discussed, Emissary from Deep Space Nine. And what do you see? People of different ethnicities.
That's right.
And I'm not just talking about the people in alien makeup. I'm talking about the actual humans that you see on camera. People of different ethnicities on the show. And they had lines, too. They were made important.
Yeah. It's just, it doesn't matter what it is.
The only one that's tired of this BS. I'm tired of this BS.
It's not, it's just like, why did all these shows go wrong? Why is something like Boondocks popular? Watch the show and analyze it. Why is stuff like King of the Hill so popular? Why did Futurama be so, why was there so many good episodes of Family Guy?
Why was The Simpsons so popular in the beginning?
It goes on and on. Like, The Simpsons could end, but the funny thing is, there's still people there, surprisingly, that are still trying. It doesn't matter if you like the show, but you can also trick yourself just because you feel, and I've said this recently, I know, and I'll say this again and again, you can trick yourself just because you're a person who loves background. You're like, oh, they finally said it. Start clapping. And then you realize, oh, shit.
Clapping like a seal, Cash?
Right.
That really isn't something I would expect from you, but hey.
No. It's just I'm just saying that you can trick yourself. Even in Star Wars, you're like, oh, they finally said something about her background. Finally, yes, this movie. Then you go back and you're like, really, okay. And so, and the reason I'm making that point is because you want something so badly from a character
or a TV show.
And you finally get it, maybe in the last movie of the trilogy, and then you realize, shit, this is really not that good, and this is all I cared about. I just feel ridiculous. Yeah, no, the Simpsons, the whole thing about the Simpsons, the Family Guy now has become a train wreck. I heard Futurama coming back has actually been pretty good.
I've yet to watch it since it came back.
Yeah, I think I watched that one episode. It was pretty good, but I just find myself watching a lot of older entertainment because it's just so freaking good. It just is. The characters, everything. It doesn't matter what it is. I find myself going back and watching shows like the Steve Harvey Show. Why? Because it's funny and the situations are good and there's actually heart.
What the hell you say?
There's shows like Married with Children that even some of the people that I know have found it recently and just like finished it. One per Spock, actually. It's just there was a lot because they explored a lot of different things and they didn't just show one side. It was all these different sides, how these people feel about this, that, the other. That makes, watching A Living Color. They push things. They push bound. Mad TV did the same thing. Let's see how far we can actually go and actually then make it funny. Let's make fun of this character. What if this character did this? This is not how people think anymore in the entertainment industry. They're like, well, my narrative is more important than this and this. There's still people that do stuff. Even Mark Ruffalo, as crazy as he is, especially lately, he can still do stuff where he's not playing some character, the evil orange man, whatever it is. It's just, it depends. There's people out there that still care about their craft. Even as crazy as De Niro is, the man still cares about his craft. But it's a mess. But it's also the people that are working on this. We're finally, after all these years, getting potentially a quality space movie by Spielberg. So we'll see. There is potential there.
And Tim asked, will Star Trek animated series be part of the Star Trek show? If you're referring to Star Trek the animated series from 73, I doubt they even know about it. And if they do, they're not even going to give it any lick of attention. They're going to focus more on their shows like Prodigy and Lower Decks.
Yep.
Because they already mentioned a couple things from those two shows in the first episode of Starfleet Academy.
Go back in time, and when these people say, "Oh, we haven't had this," go back in time and watch stuff like Brothers. That, thank goodness, Barron told me about. James Avery plays a gay football player, and he's upset that his friend doesn't want to date him, but they show both sides, and this is a number of years ago. So all the same people, because they want to forget what came before this, because it doesn't fit their narrative, because their narcissism, their arrogance. That's why fans get mad and tell these people off. It doesn't matter if it's James Gunn. It doesn't matter what it is. But they think they want to go out and insult a religion, insult this, insult that. That's fine. Hey, let's do this. Okay. And then when they get insulted, they get really mad. We want to take that show off the air. How dare you do that? They can't take it. They can dish it, but they can't take it.
And they can't take it because fans of Star Trek are saying, no, this isn't Star Trek. We're willing to fight for Star Trek.
He said, today is a good day to die.
Compare that makeup and then look at the Jem'Hadar lady with the gray face. Do you see less personality? Now, other people don't care about that, and that's fine. But if you really dig deep into these shows, especially stuff that you like, You can find out why is stuff like anime still popular after all these years?
Because they're coming up with different stories.
That's right. Exactly.
It's something new, it's something fresh, and that's what we want. Something new, something fresh. We don't want something that's been retreaded over and over and over. Because the more you retread a tire, the less useful it's going to be.
Yep. And sure, there's a ton of stuff, even about the apocalypse, but it's the way you do it. Why are they still reinventing stuff in even stuff like The Walking Dead? Because they want to see what else they can do. Change the zombies, make them this, make them that, because you want to keep trying to invent the wheel. If you care about your franchise, like you always should, you need to keep trying to reinvent the wheel.
That's what they tried to do with Next Generation. That's what they tried to do with Deep Space Nine and Voyager.
Yep. I would tell you guys, if you're interested in like caveman stuff, watch Primal, where they go, where the character is now, what he has to go through. All this stuff. These are people who care. They want to continue with the character. That would probably make sense.
Yeah. Well,
no.
You also talk about making sense. Let's make sense of the box office.
Okay.
Because it still goes with everything that we're talking about. And no, don't remake Babylon 5. I know Michael Straczynski wants to do a remake of Babylon 5. Don't even touch it. It's perfect.
Yeah, just leave it alone.
But if entertainment was so mind-blowingly good, then why is the box office the way it is? Why is Avatar each and every weekend making less and less money here in the States? It's doing great internationally. I'll give it that credit.
Mm-hmm.
But here in the States, it keeps dropping lower and lower and lower.
Yep.
Yeah, it was the top movie this weekend, but only by a small margin.
What's the total? Yep. Let's see. Look at that.
Look,
almost $1 billion internationally. Wow.
Yeah, this is where all its money is coming from.
Yep.
Then you got this paltry amount here in the States.
Yes. Oh, Lady Miss again.
Well, remember, Lady Miss is going to make sure she goes to your channel, to my channel, not playing favorites.
Right. Yeah, it's mostly a lot of international stuff. It's very interesting, but domestically, it's just not there.
No,
the totals aren't very much there. So,
no, yep. Disney and Cameron better be thanking the international markets.
Yes. I mean, Crit saw it. He said it was a lot of the same stuff. I mean, I'm not surprised. It doesn't, and if you want to go see it, that's fine. Like I said, if you're going to ever go see in any Avatar movie, you really want to see it, watch it once in 3D and then just forget about it. That's my advice.
Well, if you want to see any TV show and movie to judge it for yourself, don't go by what someone else is saying. Do it. I've done it many times.
Yeah.
And look, this 28 years later movie, it's not doing well.
Yep. No, it's not doing very well, and I don't think the budget was bloated or anything. But I just don't care about that movie. Housemaid is doing very well.
Yeah, it didn't have that high of a budget, but it's making money. And Anonymous, he might protest too much, but he went and saw it with his wife, and you can't tell me parts of it weren't worth it.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it for myself, but here's another movie where Disney should be thanking the international audience.
Wow, look at that! Yeah.
I mean, only 393 million here in the States, but 1.3 billion overseas. I only saw one entertaining movie at the movie theater last year. That was The Senior.
I think I've seen that.
True Rock, that goes back to what I said during our New Year's Eve stream, saying that you have to look for movies
Yep.
that are entertaining, that are good. They're not going to be advertised in front of you. It's not going to be dangling in front of you like a carrot. You actually have to look for it. And you found one. And speaking of Anonymous's favorite movie, I mean, that's not bad. I'm going to say what its budget was. I don't think its budget was all that high.
No, I think it's been considered it's also based on a popular novel that I had heard of. But you don't always hear about a lot of these novels, even though they're considered popular. I mean, I read The Great Gatsby in high school, and I didn't care for it. I just didn't. I saw
I was
the last
bored
movie.
by it.
I just wasn't. It just didn't grab me for whatever reason. It just didn't. And I know it's considered an American classic or whatever in this.
And look at this. 35 million was the budget for The Housemaid.
Yep. So that would be considered a success.
I would say so.
Yep.
177 million. Yeah, I would say it made its money back and more.
The first movie that I think Sydney Sweeney has been in that has been a success, I think.
Yeah.
I can't think of another one. She's only been
because the movie that she was in based on Christy Martin, that unfortunately didn't do too well.
It bombed. Yeah.
All right. Different opinions. Different opinions.
The Housemaid. We should read The Housemaid, should we? I don't know.
I don't know.
Not sure that's.
I watched the movie only because of Sydney Sweeney, but hey, I can hear some twat calling me a gooner. No, I just like attractive women. And Marty Supreme.
Quality.
You saw this, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
And Cash said it was a quality film.
Mm-hmm.
And it's made 94 million, but its budget, I think its budget was high. Very high. I'm going to look that up too.
I don't know. It might have been a bit high, yeah. They had modern music in this. Like, they had 80s music when this movie is based in the 50s. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Okay, its budget was 65 million. So I'll share it here.
Phil, I'm sure you did, Phil. I'm sure you did.
65 million, and so far it's made 94 million. So I wouldn't exactly call it a runaway hit.
No. Nope.
And Phil is saying, I had read a novel about a Frenchman in the 1800s that had a large chin. Okay, Phil. Okay, that sounds like a tall tale, but hey.
Uh-huh.
All right. Helion's saying we should read the book. I don't know. Lady Miss. Should we read the book? Would we have to turn in our man card?
I'm sure some men have read that book, but who knows?
I'm sure they have. And of course, the new horror thriller from Paramount, Primate. Yeah, that movie didn't look interesting to me at all.
Yeah.
And then I'm surprised that Fellowship of the Ring only made $4 million this weekend. I would have thought it would have made more, especially with how good it is. But then it was only released in 1,686 theaters. That's not a lot. And the showtimes, I know my local theater was only showing Fellowship of the Ring on one day, and that was in the evening.
Yeah, that's weird.
Late evening.
Oh, good. Very exciting.
I'll take your word for it. And Greenland 2 Migration, that's the new Gerard Butler movie.
Look stupid.
Yeah.
It's like, nope. There's also a movie I think coming out in March called The Bride. I was like, why does her makeup look like something bad that Harley Quinn?
It looks like a bad B movie. That movie, The Bride.
I don't know. I keep looking at her makeup and I'm like, is she supposed to be like a bad looking Harley Quinn? And my brother looked at me and said, you really feel that way? I said, yeah. Yeah, I do.
And Anaconda with Paul Rudd and Jack Black. It's made 121 million worldwide. I'm just not a fan of Jack Black.
I've liked some stuff Jack Black has done, but that Anaconda movie with Paul Rudd, no, thank you. I just think it's really stupid.
And Phil McCracken's favorite movie, SpongeBob SquarePants, The Search for SquarePants, 2.3, and it's only made 144 million worldwide. I think the sponge can no longer soak up the water.
Maybe not, but if the budget isn't that bad, then that's probably pretty good.
Yeah. And unfortunately, Cat Video Fest 2025 is not on the list. Sorry, Baron.
So the Lord of the Rings was only in like about 1,300 something.
Yeah, I'll go back to it.
Interesting.
Yeah, only 1,686 theaters. Come on, you're gonna re-release the movie for its 25th anniversary, and you're only gonna put it in 1,600 theaters? Come on.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying, Lee, but it's still...
Phil. No, that's disgusting, Phil.
He's so stupid.
Phil,
I swear, man.
Well, for someone like me who's only seen it at home, never saw it in the theater, I want to see it.
Maybe that might be not a bad reason, but yeah.
I mean, I have Back to the Future at home, and I had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles at home, but last year I went and saw them for their re-releases. Why? Because the opportunity was there.
Oh. That's not a bad thing, chat. About that, yeah. The Bride, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I know we had our watch parties of all three Back to the Future films, but still, the opportunity to see one of my favorite movies of all time in the theater setting again, it was worth it to me.
Wasn't it a bit cheaper? Like when you saw Turtles in the theater, like what was it, like $7 or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Jet says he seriously doesn't understand what the heck they were thinking, and even worse, they used the damn Nicki Minaj song for the trailer, but I'm assuming Jack Black most likely was probably high. Probably.
Oh boy. Man.
And Jet says the only films he's only good in were Tropic Thunder and voicing Bowser and the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Those weren't bad. I mean, he also did Goosebumps. Yes, he was in a Goosebumps movie that I heard he was good in. I don't know. Jack Black has had some roles that weren't bad.
Yeah.
It's just...
And let us know what you think about that movie, Tree Rock, after you've seen it. And Lady Miss says, I understand. I saw it at the theaters when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
for $3, but money is tight for families, so maybe that's why. Yeah, money has been tight for families.
That's a fair point.
And it's expensive to go to the movies when you have to pay for a ticket, depending on what time of day you go. You know, whether it's a matinee. Matinees aren't cheap anymore.
No.
Evening shows certainly aren't cheap, but then you add concessions on top of that. It's an expensive night.
Mm-hmm.
And then, what if you go to a restaurant before or after the movie? It becomes real expensive, and some people, they have to budget their money.
Yeah. But if you want to see cheaper movies at the AMC, you can always do the Tuesday.
Yeah. And yeah, it's just it's not a fun experience like it used to be. And Phil says he doesn't do movie theaters anymore.
Yeah,
I do on demand, rent it for a day and enjoy it. Yeah.
Get a 50-inch TV screen and whatever, even 26, whatever. I mean, it's still, you can have a great experience. So.
You can have a great experience. Plus, you can pause the movie, do what you need to do, and come back to it.
Yeah. That's not a bad idea, Elian. Sneak in some drinks too. I bought it. I promise. It wasn't for me.
That's something that my mom and I would do. My mom, she had one of those big purses, and whenever we went to a movie together, she's all, "What do you want, candy wise?" I always went for Junior Mints, so I said Junior Mints. She says okay, and she would tuck it in her purse where it wouldn't make a lot of noise.
Yeah. You can't blame people.
And then she'd be funny with me and say, as we're sitting there in the auditorium, okay, here's your goods.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Take a water bottle and fill it with soda or something else. I mean, whatever, and hide it, or take some water in. I mean, I'm not saying you have to do this stuff, but food is expensive still, so
yeah, it is, and it's not getting cheaper.
You're already paying. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish your thought. They won't.
It's just So you're like, oh, I want to buy 2 hot dogs, popcorn, whatever. It's going to add up pretty quickly. Even one hot dog, you're probably paying about $9-10 or something. I'll check that next time, but.
But let's go ahead and move on to our next article.
Phil, I swear.
Yeah, Phil. Phil.
Oh man, I'm not.
I'm not even highlighting that, Phil. I'm not even going to go there. But we have this article from Cosmic Book News, and it's about Paramount and Warner Brothers. And real quick, the lady miss says, bought my own drinks and a pizza. No one said anything. Well, I mean,
you can hide it.
Even my local theater now, they don't say anything. But it used to be where if you brought an outside food, you can't bring that in here.
Yeah, just don't show it to the people. At least hide something, Come on.
Yeah. But it says, Trump to the rescue, saving Warner Brothers for Paramount over woke Netflix. Who knows? Because we have another article that's going to follow this one that has supposedly highlighted Paramount's next course of action. And it says, a new twist in the high-stakes bidding war for Warner Brothers Discovery is making headlines. And this time it involves none other than President Donald Trump. That's right. I'm going to make this the greatest deal ever. Everybody's going to love it. You all know it. While the president had distanced himself from the sale, and his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, even backed out, Trump now seems to have fully aligned with Paramount against Netflix. Paramount Skydance's Plan D. And yeah, I can already hear some of you in the chat snickering, chuckling.
It's funny, but I mean, it sounds like, especially these articles that have come out lately, it seems like Paramount Skydance is just crying over spilled milk. It's like maybe they have lost.
But like we've been saying since we've been talking about this too, there are no winners in this deal. No matter who gets Warner Brothers, there's only losers. Theaters are going to be the losers if Warner Brothers Netflix goes with their plan of a 17-day release window, which means we're going to be losers.
Yep.
Excuse me.
That's why I want a third party that could take over Warner Brothers and so on. I don't.
According to a recent New York Post report by Charles Gasparino, Paramount Skydance has moved to Plan D in its bid to derail Netflix's so-called winning offer for Warner Brothers Discovery. After multiple failed strategies, including an all-cash $30 a share offer, a potential hostile takeover, and even threatening litigation, the Ellison-backed studio is now playing the long game. Insiders for the site say they're focused on hammering home the enormous regulatory risks surrounding the Netflix WBD merger, hoping the deal collapses under its own weight. And now they may have found their biggest ally yet, President Trump. We'll see about that.
I don't know how much Trump cares about this. I don't know.
I really don't know, Cash. Trump targets Netflix takeover. Trump posted One America News article on Truth Social titled "Stop the Netflix Cultural Takeover," slamming the deal as an ideological power grab by a woke media monopoly. The article accuses Netflix of seeking to consolidate unprecedented culture power by acquiring Warner Brothers Discovery. Sorry about that. Home to iconic brands such as DC Comics, HBO, Harry Potter, not to mention the Looney Tunes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but Skydance Paramount hasn't proven that they're not woke or whatever, or haven't.
No, they haven't. They still allowed Starfleet Academy to air.
Yes, exactly.
Once their merger was approved.
So
their takeover was approved.
Exactly. So you want to send?
Do you really have any confidence in them?
No, I don't have confidence in either side.
I certainly don't. I don't have any confidence in any large media conglomerate.
Nope.
The message: if Netflix controls these assets, it could become the most dominant cultural gatekeeper in history, able to rewrite characters, retell history, redefine social norms, and control which ideas reach audiences. Well, you could put all of Hollywood in that.
Yes. Yep.
You seriously can. And Glenn, good to see you. It's been a while, brother. Hope you're doing well.
Yo, Glenn. How you doing, man?
It says Trump's repost was seen by many as an endorsement of Paramount Skydance's rival bid and a warning shot at regulators. It also follows Netflix's biggest, whatever. I don't care about Stranger Things. Never did.
Never got into it.
Chaos incoming. It says this aligns perfectly with what the Ellisons and Redbird Capital have been arguing for months. The Netflix Warner Brothers Discovery deal is a regulatory nightmare waiting to happen. Netflix is offering $27.75 per share in a mix of, stock and cash, not UCash, for Warner Brothers. Studio and HBO Max with an extra $3 per share tied to a risky cable spinoff. CNN and TNT Discovery would be their own separate brands and under a different company. But that $3 is looking more like a pipe dream as investors balk at the $15 billion debt dumped onto the spinout. Ooh, that's a lot of money. Meanwhile, Netflix has lost over $160 billion in market cap since the bidding war began, and skeptics question whether it can even afford the deal. The Ellisons are calling out the declining value of Netflix stock as another ticking time bomb for Warner Brothers Discovery shareholders. And that's before regulators weigh in. Combining Netflix #1 in streaming with Warner Brothers Discovery, who's #3, could trigger an antitrust firestorm. Even Mario Gabelli, a longtime Warner Brothers Discovery investor, told Gasparino the deal is too convoluted and should be simplified, saying bluntly, cash is king. That's why he favors the Ellison's all-cash offer. No, cash, you're not king. I don't care what he says. Is Netflix ideology preferred? Perhaps the most explosive claim is that Warner Brothers Discovery Board favored Netflix not because of price, but because of politics. No shit, Sherlock. The writer of the OAN article was also interviewed by Congressman Matt Gaetz on his show and accused Warner Brothers leadership of choosing Netflix for ideological reasons despite Paramount's higher offer. Gaetz even suggested this may be a breach of fiduciary duty, implying that Warner Brothers Discovery executives prioritize progressive alignment over shareholder value. If true, it could trigger a wave of scrutiny and possibly litigation, which brings us to our next story after I read this last part. In this article, where it says what happens now with Netflix's offer under fire from both investors and the Trump-aligned political base, the tide may be turning. Paramount Skydance's strategy of staying quiet and letting Netflix implode, Plan D, may prove to be their smartest move yet.
What's up, Shane?
Yeah. As Trump signals a willingness to intervene, the Netflix Warner Brothers Discovery merger could soon find itself in the Department of Justice or the FTC's crosshairs, and if that happens, all bets are off. Paramount Skydance may still get the last laugh with help from the former president. And of course, this goes into our next article. So I'm going to go ahead and go into that next article as a continuation of our current article. So let me just shift it over here and bring that up, and I'll share the link. And Shane, it's good to see you. How's your computer working now?
Good question.
So let me post this link into the chat for everybody. The Rumble side. There's everyone else. All right, so we have this article from Bound in the Comics, which will continue our previous article from Cosmic Book News. And this is by J.B. Augustine, and it was published just this past Wednesday. And it says, told nope for the 8th time, Paramount sues Warner Brothers Discovery as theaters brace for the Netflix era. They've done it again, and now Paramount is done playing nice. Warner Brothers Discovery, this board has rejected Paramount Skydance's takeover bid for the 8th time, repeating its familiar refrain, the offer still provides insufficient value and drags along more than $55 billion in required debt financing that could torpedo the deal before it ever closes. It goes on to say, not even Larry Ellison's massive personal guarantee could convince Warner's leadership that this would it become the most spectacular leveraged buyout faceplant in entertainment history. But this time, Paramount isn't just sending another press release, it's filing paperwork. Paramount Skydance has sued Warner Brothers Discovery in Delaware Chancery Court that Phil has told us about numerous times, that all deals, especially deals like this, have to go through, seeking to force Warner Brothers Discovery to disclose the financial details behind its $83 billion agreement with Netflix. And Glenn says, I can't imagine renting a video from a box and thinking that company would one day have a chance at controlling Western media. Yeah, and none of us thought about it when Netflix first appeared on the scene, and we all rented DVDs from them and Blu-rays from them. And Shane says, I just got done with season 2 of Lawmen, and it's a great show. Okay, I'll check it out.
Yeah, I haven't gotten into it. There's some other mixed feelings about people, about the show, and some of the ratings. They said they had gone down, but I think the show's still pretty popular. So.
It says the lawsuit argues that Warner Brothers Discovery hasn't provided shareholders with the information needed to evaluate whether the Netflix deal is truly superior, including how Warner Brothers Discovery valued the stub equity and the debt-related price adjustments. Honestly, it certainly would appear that Warner Brothers Discovery, the board especially, never wanted to go into a deal with anybody but Netflix.
Well, it's crazy because, I don't know when the FCC is going to ever step into these things.
They need to.
They don't seem to give a rat's ass. It's weird.
They need to step in and break up these monopolies. Because that's what this Netflix Warner Brothers deal would become, another monopoly, just like Disney.
Mm-hmm.
Warner Brothers Discovery, for its part, has called the lawsuit meritless, accusing Paramount of trying to distract investors from the fact that it still hasn't raised its $30 per share offer. Bloomberg's reporting via Yahoo Finance already noted that Warner Brothers board is urging shareholders to stick with Netflix because the streamer's offer carries fewer moving parts and far less financial chaos than Paramount's pitch. Paramount's lawsuit now challenges that narrative directly, arguing that Warner Brothers Discovery hasn't shown its math, literally. Well, if you're not going to show any evidence as far as what would happen between one company and the other, then it sounds like to me you don't have a leg to stand on. And let's see. Helion says, I went to the local IRS office with the guy I was dating. I set off the metal detector. They had to check me for weapons. I told the officer that was more action than I have seen in months. I nearly had to find my own way home. Ooh.
Man, right to the jugular.
Yep. Meanwhile, theaters are watching all this with the enthusiasm of someone waiting for a dentist to pick up the drill. Netflix's preferred 17-day theatrical window has already been labeled as an existential threat by exhibitors who argue that anything shorter than 45 days turns theatrical releases into glorified marketing stunts for streaming. Well, that's what it is. They want to limit the availability and access to these movies, so you only have one place to go. I don't want one place to go, Cash.
Nope.
I want to have option.
Yes, good options.
How you doing, Pata? Good to see you this evening.
Padawan BEE.
It says Netflix insists it isn't trying to steamroll cinema. You want to bet? Ted Sarandos, who's good buddies with David Zaslav, and that again points to what I said earlier. Warner Brothers only wants Netflix because they're buddy-buddy. Ted Sarandos points to the company's 30 theatrical releases last year, but theater owners have heard this tune before, and it usually ends with a movie hitting streaming before the popcorn can go stale. It says if the Netflix deal closes, the ripple effects will stretch far beyond corporate boardrooms. Shorter windows could mean weaker box office legs, fewer long-run blockbusters, and a theatrical ecosystem reshaped around Netflix's platform first priorities. And guess what? It would also mean theaters would go out of business.
Yeah, more theaters, even after COVID, after the COVID loop.
And let's see. Let me just pick up where I left off. It says Paramount's lawsuit warns that the lack of transparency around the deal could accelerate those shifts even further. For fans, that might mean faster access at home, but also fewer chances to experience major releases the way they were meant to be seen. Exactly. Warner's continued rejection of Paramount isn't just another headline in a long merger saga. With Paramount now taking Warner Brothers Discovery to court, the story has shifted from a corporate chess match to a full-blown legal brawl. And depending on how the lawsuit plays out, it could redefine not only who owns what, but how and where audience watch new releases in their favorite franchises. In other words, it could be another requiem from the waning theatrical model. I still stand by what I say. It's going to lead to the closure of a lot of movie theaters if Netflix gets their way. I don't want that. I still want the opportunity to go see a movie, whether it's a re-release or a new movie that is getting positive feedback in the theater.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want to step into a theater and smell popcorn?
This is
being freshly popped.
Yep. This is what I keep telling people. There's these greedy people out there, of course, that once they get too much control of this stuff, then they lock things and there's less options. But before we had more options, then they take that stuff away. And Paramount's not much better.
No,
they can do the same fucking thing. They
could have looked at Starfleet Academy and said, nope.
That's right. If these companies really want to take a stand like they claim they do, then they'll go, no, we're not doing that. And there's been a few out there, but not much. They would be like, no, we're not showing this. We're not going to air this. So.
I mean, how fun was it to be able to go see a hit movie with a group of people that you know, or even if you didn't know the group of people, just being there in the theater during opening weekend or opening week or sometime during that movie's run where people were still going to see it, and you all have the same or similar reactions to watching it together. Yeah. They're just shooting themselves in the foot.
They are. No, I just want a third buyer out there. I want someone to say, no, we want to buy Warner Brothers so we can bring it back to the greatness it deserves to be. When do we ever hear that? No. But it sounds like if that's what they want to do, that's fine. And then, of course, Paramount's like crying over spilled milk. But still, either way, it's bad. I mean, you go on Paramount Plus, and if you've got a Spectrum account, and you've got a certain package for that, for the different ones, for the HBO Max, this and that. All there is there's fucking RuPaul drag racing shit all over that thing. I swear, it just and you know these shows shouldn't have any problems, but then when they get into this political bullshit, and it is political bullshit, then it's like, nah.
It's all centered around political bullshit anymore.
So Paramount, like, once again, you have Paramount Plus, you got it for free because of Spectrum, whatever. Well, guess what? You can. It's got a lot of nice old shows on there to watch. It's got all of Trek to watch on there. You want to watch that, but once again, these streaming shows, these streaming services like Netflix and the biggest problem is that I have seen and continue to see is they don't have enough good content to justify the prices of these streaming services. That is the problem.
And I'm right there with you, Anonymous. I like the theater setting. I like having, the music of the movie all around me. The explosions of an action-packed popcorn flick around me. I like to be immersed
into
that movie.
And it sounds like Warner Brothers Discovery, I guess, like Mike was saying, and it sounds like from even that article that they always wanted to sell to Netflix. Well, Netflix has problems just like Paramount does and Sky does. Once again,
Cuties? Anybody remember Cuties?
Right. That's right. Flip a coin. Either side is no good, man. So, yeah, it's so crazy.
And Shane says that he thinks they should sell off franchises individually. This will maximize profits and ensure some of these franchises land in competent hands.
Yep. And
they can do that, but I don't believe that Warner Brothers wants to do that.
Yep. They were all arrogant. They're all this stuff. Okay, well, we don't need this. It's the same with the EA stuff. We don't need Steam. We don't need this. And then they come crawling back and they're like, oh, we have to make a deal. This will help maximize our profits, or this will help our profits. I thought you guys could do it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, come on. No? So you can't do it yourself. Is that what you're saying? Oh, okay. I see. So you need help from another source. All right.
Yeah, and Shane, I know you remember this, but when streaming came about, they were saying, yeah, you can get rid of cable, cut the cord, because streaming is cheaper. And it was cheaper at the time. Now it's just as expensive, if not more expensive, than having a cable provider or a satellite provider.
Yep. And there should be a survey done. Do people like to watch? Maybe I'll put up a poll on this, on Twix or X or whatever, about do you find yourself watching more older shows on these streaming services or newer shows? I think it's a good question.
Honestly, I'm like you, Cash. I'm watching the older stuff.
Yeah, so am I.
I might have a few new movies in my collection here and there, but it's not nearly to the amount of the older stuff that I enjoyed.
Yep.
It's the only way I can get my wife to watch a full movie without getting up and doing something else. Yeah. So some people, guess what? They still like to have date night. And their date night consists of going to the movies.
Yep.
Nothing wrong with that.
And the problem with movie theaters is the people who are loud and stuff and other things that can happen. People who are just rude and don't turn off their phones. So that makes people not want to go to the movies as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's obviously not the other people. It's just people being entitled pieces of shit at that point, or just being rude because they can. They don't care. People jumping in the aisles. People do. It's not so much that though. It's more the phones. It's the people being too loud. And if you're going to talk, even in the theater, try to be quiet. And if you only talk a little bit,
try to whisper.
That's right. So you don't have to bother people, but yeah. So that can be a problem too.
And yeah, next Sunday I'm probably going to go watch Return of the King in theaters because it's going to be at my theater again next weekend. So
I'm not
going to take advantage.
That movie's great.
There's maybe 3 shows a year I like now, and they're usually ruined within the first season with The Message. Yeah, that's the big problem that Starfleet Academy has. The Message.
Yep.
Bill is older than the talkies anyway, so he don't understand pictures. Yeah, he doesn't understand the movie pictures. He doesn't understand the sound coming out of them either. Oh, Helene's one of those people that likes to talk loud when she's watching a movie at the theater. But Anonymous and everybody, you're just in time for the final and the main event.
Yep.
Cash and I are not holding back on this one, and I don't want you guys to hold back either.
Nope.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the final article. All right, this comes from IndieWire. It became official on Thursday after years of rumor and speculation. And, many on this very platform of YouTube saying Kathleen Kennedy is done. Disney is not happy with Kathleen Kennedy, saying that she's fired each and every day, each and every week. Well, guess what? She is gone from Lucasfilm, but in this own individual's personal point of view, it doesn't mean Star Wars is saved. As it says here on IndieWire, IndieWire, it says Kathleen Kennedy stepping down as Lucasfilm president. Dave Filoni named president. It ain't getting better, folks. It's just getting a hell of a lot worse. And that's not mean, being pessimistic. It's having seen the pattern for the last 14 years because Dave Filoni has been a part of this problem for the last 14 years. And it also says Lin-Wen Brennan will serve as co-president effective immediately. And let's get to some comments here too. Oh, we've been waiting. We've been waiting. And Return the Artist, Disney fired for her. Yeah. Anonymous says she has completed her mission of destroying George Lucas and Lucasfilm. Her revenge for all those coffees she had. Yeah. Well, she's supposedly going back to producing. But it says the Kathleen Kennedy era at Lucasfilm has officially come to an end. Kennedy will be stepping down from her role at Lucasfilm after nearly 14 years on the job and will be transitioning back to full-time producing, Disney announced on Thursday. Yeah, well, that doesn't make up, repair, fix any damage that she had already done in those last 14 years. And she wasn't alone. She was not alone in creating that damage. I know there are people that are going to say, oh, but the sequel trilogy made over $1 billion. Yeah. And the sequel trilogy can't even hold a candle to the original trilogy. Can't even hold a candle to the prequels. It says here in the article, Dave Filoni, the company's chief creative officer, will serve as president and chief creative officer, and Lin-Wen Brennan will be co-president. Both have been in senior leadership roles at the Star Wars, and Indiana Jones studio for more than 15 years. Oh yeah, Star Wars, dead. Indiana Jones, dead. Oh, and let's not forget that they also killed Willow. They killed it so much so that Disney pulled it from Disney Plus. So that's 3 franchises that George Lucas helped create that they killed.
The problem is with Star Wars, even if you like Andor, some Mandalorian, a few things, it's a lot of the goofiness that has happened. It's the insults that they're willing to do. It's the intimidation, at least for me, that's just lacking, except for characters like Vader. It's a whole list of things. Even though I can say I like some of Disney Star Wars, not much, but I like some. I
liked Rogue One.
Rogue One I thought was really good. I just, there wasn't much. Even stuff like that Han Solo show, that movie, it was like, it got too weird. It's like, why would Lando ever be interested in robots? The man is a womanizer. But anyways, yeah, it doesn't fix the problems, because people that were installed by KK, Kathleen Kennedy, like I would say Leslie Headland, as some people would say, who barely read anything of the EU, and the Acolyte, literally, if you want to start fixing Star Wars, like actually fixing it, you have to make things like the Acolyte not canon. I know that's going to hurt some people's feelings out there, but that's the reality. You want fixing, because the biggest problem with Star Wars has happened, just like a lot of illogical nonsense. Sabine becoming a I don't know how much Kathleen Kennedy had to do with Ahsoka, as I like to call it, season 1.
Oh, her name was still on the credits. So
there you go. So, but that was Filoni's baby, and because he loves Ahsoka. There's other people that we know, even some YouTubers. Oh, Ahsoka. I know one of them, actually, I used to watch a few years ago. But yeah, the character Ahsoka is not bad, and the character Ahsoka was not bad in The Mandalorian season 2, and even in those episodes of Book of Boobaloo. But it was the show. It was the fact that Ahsoka, or Ajoka, because that's how I felt in that show, was training Sabine. Sabine was really cool just as a Mandalorian. So they keep changing this stuff. And the fact of the matter is that it's really just embarrassing, because it's illogical. A lot of this stuff becomes illogical, and that is the main problem with Star Wars, Doctor Who, anything. Of course, Disney, I guess, owns Doctor Who in a way too, right? So,
well, they're not going to be producing anymore after this last season.
Yep. And then, I just want to also throw this out. There's situations too where there's women out there who are like, no, I don't like this direction, and they get thrown out, like Amy Hennig, for example, in Naughty Dog. That's just another example, because these are good examples, because this happens too. Not all these women are like, I don't like this direction. Why can't these characters be this way? Why do we have to change this? And so people like KK was like, the Force is female. And it wasn't just that. It's just she wanted to make whatever stamp she could. And then what does she do? She gets mad at the fans. She's still getting mad at the fans. Oh, well, it was just a select few. Yeah, a select few, right?
And Jeff Sparks says, yeah, everyone agrees. Rogue One was really good. I didn't like Jedi Fallen Order. Jedi Survivor Story feels like they were pulling more crap from the highest fuck Republic. And see, that's where we disagree. I liked Fallen Order. I liked Jedi Survivor.
Yeah, those aren't terrible games. Those are probably better Star Wars games. The problem is with that is the maze that you keep going. You have to keep going in circles, going in circles, going in circles, going in circles. I think Jedi Survivor, from what I've seen, seems to not do as much of that. But once again, that had technical problems. So this is why Mike and I will always say this, that you can't, if there's actual problems with this stuff, it should be called out.
Well, it's like Resident Evil Requiem. You know, looking at the trailer, looking at the screenshots for the game, it looks like it's going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it's going to be $70 good. But if it's on Game Pass, I'll play it on day one.
Right.
But I'm not going to spend $70 just to play it.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, this article says that both Filoni and Lin-Wen Brennan will report to Disney Entertainment co-chairman Alan Bergman. And also says Puck reported in February of last year that Kennedy would be retiring by the end of 2025, something the studio denied at the time. Well, it's something that we heard, and I didn't talk about it during Pop Talk because I want fact. I want concrete evidence that
that's right.
You know, she was going to be retiring. Mm-hmm. I wasn't going to go on rumor and speculation. Did I do that in the beginning of Pop Talk? Yes, I did. Yes, in the beginning of Pop Talk, I did talk about the rumors a lot.
Yep, a lot of people got to a point. Gone. Yep.
Mm-hmm. But then it got to a point where we're not going anywhere with these stories.
No,
it's the same thing each and every week. So I dropped it. Even in the intro, it used to have rumors popping up as one of the titles in the intro. I dropped it because I got tired of talking about rumors. I wanted fact, concrete fact. And part of that also stems from Major League Baseball. This time of year, you hear so many rumors about where a player's going to be going, who's going to be traded. I get sick of it.
Yes.
I don't want to hear it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It says, under Kennedy's tenure at Lucasfilm, we got a new trilogy of Star Wars films in the Skywalker saga that were box office smashes, and The Mandalorian and Andor have become Disney Plus streaming hits. Yes, but have you noticed something this week at Disneyland? It was announced that at Batuu Galaxy's Edge, they're bringing in more original trilogy characters.
Weird.
I wonder why. Why.
How could that be?
I don't know, Cash. How and why could that be?
I don't know. It's a mystery.
Yep. But she also oversaw a series of lows with likes of Solo, several other critically maligned Star Wars streaming series that have sold the franchise, as well as a dearth of new Star Wars films since the rise of Skywalker back in 2019. Heck, when I went and saw The Phantom Menace for its re-release, and they had that 3-minute preview of the Acolyte, I'm just rolling my eyes, going, "Oh, this 3 minutes is telling me everything I need to know about the series. That it's not going to be any good." I didn't need to see any more after that. 7 years removed from that film, Disney will finally be releasing The Mandalorian and Grogu, a big screen finale to the streaming series, and the studio is also currently at work on Starfighter, starring Ryan Gosling, which will open in 2027. Several other prospective films, however, with revolving door of talent have started and stopped over recent years. Yeah, what about that Patty Jenkins Rogue Squadron film?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. They announced it and then it was canceled. Yep. What about Gina Carano's series that they announced?
Yep.
Then they dropped it because they dumped her.
Right.
What? Yeah. Let's talk about that real quick. What about the shameful ploy by Disney and their executives, their PR department? The shameful framing of Gina Carano, making her out to be this awful person, and all she was doing was pointing out a part of history, a part of World War II history. Yep. Where people were being vilified because they didn't agree with one side. Just like we see the news today. People being vilified because they don't agree with one side. They don't agree with one position. That's all Gina Carano was doing. Yes, they eventually went to court. They reached a settlement. But still, the framing that they put Gina Carano under, making her out to be a villain when she was not a villain. That was disgusting. As for where Lucasfilm heads now, Filoni has been with Lucasfilm since 2005 and has been working closely with George Lucas for years, helping establish Lucasfilm's animation studio and leading the vision of shows like Star Wars: The Clone Wars, Rebels, and The Mandalorian. He's also currently the showrunner for Ahsoka, which is in production for its second season. Just because he was under the tutelage of George Lucas doesn't mean he's going to be the guiding light for Star Wars. He was already with Star Wars under Kathleen Kennedy, and we already saw what has happened to the franchise. Like many franchises, it's fallen from grace.
But he doesn't call himself Lucas doesn't call himself a male feminist like Filoni Baloney has. So.
Yeah. When we acquired Lucasfilm more than a decade ago, we knew we were bringing into the Disney family not only one of the most beloved and endured storytelling universes ever created, which you've destroyed, Disney, but also a team of extraordinary talent led by a visionary filmmaker, someone who had been handpicked by George Lucas himself, no less, said Bob Iger, Chief Executive Officer of the Walt Disney Company. Yeah, and how did that work out for you, Bob? You thought you were going to be riding in like the white knight on the white horse, and guess what? The company has failed. And it's good to see George Lucas. Haven't seen you in a while, my friend. I hope you're doing well, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on Kathleen Kennedy stepping down and going into a producer role. We're deeply grateful for Kathleen Kennedy's leadership, her vision, and her stewardship of such an iconic studio and brand. Yeah, she's destroyed George Lucas's vision. Kathleen Kennedy has been a tremendous force in the industry for 50 years, and it's been our privilege to have her here at Disney leading Lucasfilm for nearly 14 of them, said Bergman. She has steered Star Wars to incredible box office heights and brought a new generation of fans into the fold. Are we sure she's brought in a new generation of fans into the fold? Because I go to my local stores and Star Wars merchandise isn't selling like it used to. It's more like peg warmers and shelf warmers. Lego Star Wars in my area, it's not selling like it used to. And Anonymous says George is too busy swimming in his money bin. Possibly. He's got to share that money bin with cash. All right, so it says we appreciate having her on board to produce our next couple of films, and the studio remains in extraordinarily capable hands with Dave Filoni, who's a brilliant storyteller, and Lin-Wen Brennan, an avid innovator and business leader. They are deeply passionate and experienced executives who will continue to drive the studio and Star Wars forward in exciting new directions. Are we sure about that? When George Lucas asked me to take over Lucasfilm upon his retirement, I couldn't have imagined what lay ahead, said Kennedy. It has been a true privilege to spend more than a decade working alongside the extraordinary talent at Lucasfilm. Their creativity and dedication have been an inspiration, and I'm deeply proud of what we've accomplished together. I'm excited to continue developing films and television with both longtime collaborators and fresh voices who represent the future of storytelling. Kennedy has a career that stretches back 50 years and has seen her as the co-founder of Steven Spielberg's Amblin Entertainment, produced classics like E.T., The Extraterrestrial, Jurassic Park, Back to the Future, Schindler's List, The Sixth Sense, and Lincoln. And all her 70-plus films have earned 25 Oscars and billions at the box office. Yes, but she mainly fetched coffee. Come on. She mainly fetched coffee. Let's be honest here. And that's not me being misogynist. That's me being able to point out fact. All she did was fetch the coffee for George and Steven Spielberg. And Robert Zemeckis. She was honored with the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences Irving G. Thalberg Memorial Award in 2018. The Producers Guild of America's Milestone Award in 2022. My love of storytelling was shaped by the films of Kathleen Kennedy and George Lucas, said Filoni. I never dreamed I would be privileged to learn the craft of filmmaking from both of them. From Rey to Grogu, Kathy has overseen the greatest expansion in Star Wars storytelling on screen that we have ever seen. Oh yeah, Rey the Mary Sue, and Grogu. Once he got his name and lost Baby Yoda, that pretty much took away anything that the character had, any kind of marketing ploy that character had. And I'll admit, Grogu was a hot commodity when he first appeared on the scene. They finally produced, stuffed animals to toys of Grogu, but that only lasted for so long. And it says, I'm incredibly grateful to Kathy, George, Bob Iger, and Alan Bergman for their trust and opportunity to lead Lucasfilm in this new role, doing a job I truly love. May the force be with you. And Anonymous is saying hello to Lady Mist. And Helion says, I thought Kathleen Kennedy was a politician. Well, she's a Hollywood politician. You have to have that political mindset in Hollywood if you're going to rise to the top and pull the rug out from under people. Yeah, she had that embarrassing video where she's talking about, I can't remember what it was, but she says fade in. It's like, really, Kathy? You've been in the business this long and you're reading the part on the teleprompter where it says fade in? Come on. All right, so it says Brennan has been with Lucasfilm since 1999, beginning at Industrial Light and Magic, where she rose through the ranks to become its leader in 2009. She was appointed general manager of Lucasfilm in 2015 and president and general manager of Lucasfilm Business in 2024. During her tenure, she has guided the company through transformative logical shifts with a clear strategic vision and a commitment to innovation. And her industry leadership has been recognized with a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Visual Effects Society and the honor of Commander of the Most Excellent Order of the British Empire. Okay. And then it says, Lucasfilm has played such a meaningful part of my life, said Brennan. It's a community of inspiring storytellers with a rebel spirit like no other. And I am honored to join Dave Filoni in leading us forward. I have been so fortunate to learn from George Lucas, Kathy Kennedy, and Alan Bergman, and have unwavering faith in Dave's creative vision for the next chapter in this Storage Studios legacy. And, well, unfortunately, the studio's legacy and the franchises that it had inspired many, in my opinion, those franchises are dead. And it's because, not just because of Kathleen Kennedy, but everyone who was associated with Star Wars, especially since Disney bought Lucasfilm, in my opinion. And let's see, Cash, you back? Cash isn't back, but I would love to see what you all have to say about Kathleen Kennedy stepping away. Do you, in your opinion, think that this is a saving grace for Star Wars, or like me, do you think this isn't a saving grace and Lucasfilm is too deep in the hole right now to ever recover? Because that's where I think they're at. They're too deep in the hole. When you have series that aren't being renewed, like The Acolyte, despite what some of the critics will say that it's a hit series, no, nobody wanted it, nobody asked for it. It was from the High Republic era, and then you hear that Ahsoka is being canceled after season 1. Then come to find out it's being picked up for season 2. Well, Filoni had something to do with that. And Anonymous says the only saving grace would be Disney selling off Lucasfilm and pray to someone who actually loves the IP. Yes, because let's not forget, just because they have new co-presidents of Lucasfilm itself is still under the Disney umbrella. It's still under the mouse. And Lady Miss says she hasn't watched any newer Star Wars movies. That's probably for the best, Lady Miss, just to be honest. No. It won't. Sometimes a show needs to end. Sometimes a franchise needs a break. And that's where Star Wars is at. That's where Doctor Who is at. That's where Star Trek is at. You could put any franchise in. Comic book movies from Warner Brothers and Disney, that's where they're at. They need to end. They need a break. An extended vacation. Yeah, they need to just take a break, reset, and get those creative juices going. But Cash, what do you have to say about all this?
Well,
remember, I told you not to hold back, so please don't hold back.
No, I'm not going to hold back. I'm just getting my thoughts together. Kathleen Kennedy was always about the whole thing about the Force is female, fine, whatever. But the problem is, even when you have a situation where people want to present this idea, okay, the Force is female, great. Then what are you going to do with this? Are you going to make these characters more interesting? No. What did you do? What do we see about Rey? She was a Mary Sue. Okay, she had no flaws. What do we see about other characters, including Reva, as I like to call her, in Kenobi? Doesn't really have any flaws. Not really. She wasn't that interesting of a character, and she's screaming at Kenobi, and I mean that Kenobi show ended up being a mess. It really did. And so we just keep seeing these characters in Star Wars that weren't that interesting. Rose Tico, whatever you want to call her. Where was she in Episode 8? Oh, she just vanished. A lot of these characters just became less. It's just so funny. Even Poe Dameron wasn't that. He became less in Episode 8. So all this stuff is all on Kathleen Kennedy, and then the people that and then I'm sure Kathleen Kennedy recommended Leslie Headland, and so you just go down the list. And Dave Filoni, well, yeah, taken over as president, and this other woman, I don't know. I've seen her, but I don't really know much about her. But Filoni baloney, and I didn't feel that way. Rebels and Clone Wars are actually, there's a lot of quality story, but remember, George Lucas was more involved with the Clone Wars show. Rebels, though, was still good. It's still enjoyable. Kanan, these characters are interesting, and what happened to them, like Kanan, was like, oh wow, that actually okay, that it made an impact. But even Hera in the Rebels show, she was just like, I'm a fighter. I'm this. She wasn't like, I want to be a Han Solo type. No, but the way they acted in the live action show of Ahsoka is like, she's the most badass whatever of the galaxy. She's even better than Han Solo without even saying it. And thank you, Leibniz. It's just boggles the mind. So if you're going to have any kind of agenda out there, and we all can have it should go in a good direction. These characters should always mean something, not be Mary Sue's, not be weak males, not be a bunch of goofy nonsense that Star Wars was never known for. Oh, things have to change. But it's not the humor that adds to the story. It's the humor that you guys want to do, like the stupid Power Ranger stuff and Book of Boobaloo, all kinds of stuff, the stuff in Kenobi, like Talia, or was it Tali? It was Talia. No, I think it was Talia. Her death actually seemed to mean something. But the problem is that the Kenobi show, and of course Kay's involved in all this stuff, either a producer or more heavily involved in this stuff. It all just didn't go anywhere. The Mandalorian, though, and yes, she's a producer on that too. First 2 seasons actually meant something. Oh, I like this character. I don't mind Grogu. At least that's how I felt. Until Grogu became too much. Oh, this is a marketing tool. Okay, great. But why is Grogu in Book of Boobaloo? And so I think KK and somewhat Favreau, not as much, even some of these people who directed this stuff, what do you guys know about Star Wars? So KK leaving doesn't mean things get fixed. It doesn't mean like, oh, it's a giant celebration, because Dave Filoni, if you actually want to sit down and watch the first season of Ahsoka, it's just, there's illogical crap that goes on. And even Ray Stevenson, rest in peace, he his character was the more interesting, but they didn't do more with his character. And I felt his character was insulted, but other people have told me, oh, no, he liked it. He was very happy with this. And I'm like, So I find it very funny to this stuff, because it's just like, just because one leader leaves what did they establish before? Was it good? Was it bad? So KK going around still talking, and she still wants to be a producer or will be a producer. She's still blaming the fans for this. Oh, it was just like, no, moron. it's just you decided to go in this direction, and then a lot of people started rejecting it. And yes, Andor is good, but look at a lot of people feel it is. I thought it was good. I will admit that even some of Disney Star Wars is good. Oh no, because Mike and I don't just go, oh, it's all horrible, everything's awful, it's over, whatever. But
I like season 1 and 2 of Mandalorian.
Me too. I liked Andor, but I will tell people all the time, Andor could have had more action in it, like Rogue One. I know it's built more on drama. I didn't think Andor was bad, and I'm not going to go into this other situation that other people want to do. Well, we can relate it to what's going on with real life politics. No, fuck off with that shit. It's just ridiculous. I just no. I don't need to look at Andor as that. I like this whole thing of the revolution, and when they added the action, it was good. They had good drama. But it's because Tim Gilroy actually wanted to do something. And he says some stuff, too, recently that I just roll my eyes. They can't stop saying these things. Fine. But Andor was actually a good show. And I don't care what anybody says. I even got Jace. Jace had somebody on Raging Rhino. I think the guy was named. Not this has nothing to do with. This is a different streamer. He is linked to Geeks and Gamer. And he didn't. But then Jace finally watched Andor. He says, this is not a bad show. I said, I told you, man. Even if you don't think it's Star Wars or do think it's Star Wars or whatever, it's still a good show, and it ties in well to Rogue One. The problem is, though, for me, is still there's not enough action. I just feel like with Star Wars, there should be a good deal of action. There were some. I just feel there could have been more. So to me, Andor was good. I personally like season 1 and 2 of The Mandalorian better. It's just really crazy to me that, just because KK leaves, and then of course all the rumors, I'm just laughing, but I get tongue tied, but no, all the rumors.
Cass, you talk about season 1 and 2 of The Mandalorian.
Yes.
How exciting was it for you in that last episode of season 2 when Luke showed up?
That was cool. I didn't cry. I know some people did. That's fine. That's how bad they wanted it. I get it. But it's those things don't usually make me cry. Maybe I don't have much of a soul, but no. But I don't. It's always the same situation. That was good Star Wars, and I still think Andor. People say, "Oh, it's not Star Wars." I think it's still good Star Wars. It's just there's certain things that could be better. But it does tie into Rogue One. I will say that. It does tie in. Now, is it going to be memorable to me 5-10 years down the road? I don't know. I don't want... right, hell yeah. But no, there just needed to be more fights, more this, more that. It's just... This is what Star Wars has always been about for a lot of people, including myself. We want, it doesn't have to just be about the Jedi. It can be about scoundrels. It can be about all kinds of cool stuff. But the problem is,
you mean like a Wretched Hide of scum and villainy?
That's right. And so it bothered me that shows like Book of Boobaloo that Kathleen Kennedy was on, Jon Favreau was involved. It just... people were like, oh, I like to see the Tusken Raiders. I don't want to see the Tusken Raiders as anything else but savages, because that's how I always saw them. I don't need to see them as misunderstood. Some people like that. I didn't. I don't like that at all, personally. But I can't
Dances with Tusken Raiders. That was a hit show.
That's right. But some people like that. Oh, I like seeing the Tusken Raiders like this. It's the same thing with the Ahsoka thing. People give it a pass because they saw Anakin. Yeah, that was fine. But still, the Ahsoka show was a mess because Sabine became, and this is on Dave Filoni, of course, but he doesn't care. He wants Ahsoka to be so powerful, this and that. Sabine didn't need to ever have Jedi powers. That's just illogical nonsense. It really is. She gets stabbed and she's still alive. There's all these kind of things that are just ridiculous about Sabine.
And yet Qui-Gon got stabbed in The Phantom Menace, and he did.
Right. And even Thrawn, I didn't see him this menacing presence that I saw in Rebels, or even if you read the novels or you read any of the comics or whatever. I didn't see this menacing presence that I wanted to always see as Thrawn. I saw a guy who looked like he was ready to he had a little belly. He's ready to eat something. Maybe you want to eat the shell people over where Ezra was hiding. And that was ridiculous too. There was all these ridiculous things. And when my brother and I watched season 1 of Ahsoka, it was until the end, my brother's like, wow, that was the ending. And I'm like, I told you, man. I just, it's just nonsense. And so Filoni taking over this and the way he's going with this. And somebody I know, my friend Vor, that I've known for at least a few years, he's right. Like Dave Filoni is happy to just recycle or retcon. Needs to retcon the stuff that he's already done, which is ridiculous. But now we're supposed to trust Filoni. I would rather have somebody like Sam Witwer or somebody new who would be, I have all this knowledge and I care about the source material, actually cares. That's who I would rather have running Lucasfilm, not Dave Baloney Loney. That's just not for me. And other people are like, oh, it's going to be changed and Kathleen's gone and this and that. The same people who were like, oh, well, let me do a video about what would happen if Kathleen Kennedy was gone. What would happen if this? She's going to be fired. And we know other streamers who have done this. And what happened, guys? You didn't have the source material on that. You didn't have the info. Did you ever apologize? You don't need to, I guess, but you know, you heard a story, you heard a rumor from this person, and this person had the source, and this person that. We had the info. You didn't have it, did you?
Well, it was like people saying George Lucas betrayed us when he, went with Bob Iger.
Bob Igor, and Bob Igor, like, he's not helping. He's still there. So Disney has a lot of problems. What companies should always do is maximize their profits and care about their fucking fan base. Oh my gosh. Like, actually care about it. It's just so funny to me, and it's so frustrating, and it's frustrating for a lot of you out there. Well, and I understand that.
It's frustrating because I don't care if it's entertainment, whether it's film, television, entertainment, whether it's comic books, whether it's video games, or even sports. If you're going to own a studio, own a franchise,
yes,
then put your money where your mouth is and put out a good product. You put out a good product, and people will come.
That's right. That's the whole point. People ask, why are these still popular? Why are these Japanese RPGs still popular? Why are they? Because of the stories, the characters, and the games run. There's a lot of reasons why these companies, there's still some out there that people care about because they care about their fan base. What did Kathleen Kennedy do? Let's divide again. What did Netflix do with these popular shows? Divide again. How does that ever
Hollywood
help?
Been doing, Cash? Dividing people.
Yep.
Well, reading that article earlier, saying review bombing. Well, they were doing that when these Star Wars shows were coming out.
Yep.
The Acolyte being one of them. Yep. Ahsoka being another.
Yep. And remember, don't ever be afraid to call out any of these people in the media, any of them. I don't care if they're more on the right. I don't care if they're more on the left. If they're saying stuff that seems ridiculous, you have every right to call them out. You see these YouTubers saying things, you have every right to call them out. But the thing is,
out.
Yeah, that's right. You have every right to call them out. You don't have to slander them. You don't have to attack them like that. But you can say, you're being ridiculous. Okay? You're being... And we know a number of people who were like, Kathleen Kennedy's getting fired. She's getting fired. She's getting fired. She's getting fired. We have the evidence. Well, what would happen if she got fired? And this would happen. And this would happen. And look if this person took over. They never had the information that she did. Well, my sources said this. What sources? I've seen this also on Cosmic Comic Book News. I've seen this on Bounty the Comics. I've seen this from other YouTubers. Where were your sources? This is not about loving Kathleen Kennedy or not. This is about actual facts. Where are your sources? And so Mike and I and Baron, just like with the whole thing of Alec Baldwin, Jonathan Majors, we were going to wait because this is the smartest thing to do for the actual information to come out.
I had someone during that whole Jonathan Majors domestic dispute that he had with his now ex-girlfriend say, "Oh, I got new information." I said, "Nope, I ain't going with it. I'm waiting until actual evidence comes out." I stood my ground. They didn't like it, but I stood my ground.
Yeah, we're not going to just blindly agree with this because some mob believes this. That's ridiculous. It's crazy to me, all that stuff about Kathleen Kennedy. I get it. I understand, though. People wanted her gone. I get it. She caused a lot of problems. I get it. But if you don't have the source, why even say anything? Oh, I heard this rumor. Fine, talk about the rumors. Talk about whatever. But other people have a right to call you out.
But don't act like it's the fact.
Exactly.
It's the gospel.
It's not the facts, though.
I would love for Alex Kurtzman to be gone from Star Trek, but I got a feeling that the current ownership of Paramount is going to re-up him.
Exactly.
That's a gut feeling. It's not a rumor. It's my gut feeling.
Yep. And just because somebody is linked to this and things will get better and whatever, you don't know. Because when you see stuff like the Starfleet Academy, and it's like, oh, but Paramount and Skydance, they're the best now. They're better than Netflix. They're all a problem. Because they aren't fixing things they say they want to. We're going to change things. And then you get the other channels, Bounty the Comics, media, the Cosmic Comic Book News, or they like, oh, Snyder's going to come back and fix everything. No. With Warner Brothers. No. He's made mistakes too. I know a lot of people wanted the Snyder cut, but Snyder is also an egomaniac. He can be an absolute jackass. So, I mean, just like a number of these people, some are less than others, but yeah, exactly. Right. People can lie on the internet.
Oh, no, not at all.
No, not at all.
Nobody lies on the internet.
So it's like, this is like, if you want to take the stand, you don't want to start acting like the people that you're fighting against. And that's exactly what was happening with these channels. And some of the information out there, sure, was good. It was good because, yeah, the High Republic is a mess. And there is a lot of agenda crap. And it's not for a lot of people. And it didn't sell well. Some people say it did. I remember a comic book store thing. But this is all under KK. This is all under Kathleen. But then you get people like Leslie Headland. She said that she knows a lot about the EU. Well,
yeah.
Jason,
what's your favorite book?
Right, Jason, I found out she read one book of the trilogy. That's a person who's supposed to know a lot. Oh, how dare you say that because she's a woman, and that's people do that stupid stuff too. And so it's ridiculous. So the YouTuber channels, the bigger ones, they can be just as ridiculous as the people that they're fighting against. So why not just be better than the other people? Wait for the information. Wait for it to actually be fact.
Instead of trying to be the first one to report the information, find out whether this rumor has any actual fact involved, any grain of salt that'll prove
That's right.
what you're saying.
Yep. Just wait for the information. We had people, even with the Jonathan Majors, oh, we know he's guilty. We know he's guilty. Okay, let's just wait for the information to see everything. Mm-hmm. Look at what happened with the Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial. Yeah. That's another. Yes, Johnny Depp wasn't as bad as Amber Heard, but the reality is they had an actual toxic relationship, and they were both not good for each other. That's the reality. It's obvious. But she was worse than him.
Hey, you want to know what's disgusting about the Rust incident? You know, that Alec Baldwin movie is that even after they, had gone to court and everything, you come to find out that they went to Montana to finish filming the movie. So they left New Mexico and went to another state. to finish filming the movie. They should have canned that son of a bitch.
Yes, there were already problems already. They could have avoided all this stuff. They need to can this, get things better, make sure the armor, all kinds of things. But this is why you wait for information. And even when Mike and I and Baron were reading these variety articles, either on stream or off stream, they always have to have, like, we have to defend this. No. Can I admit Alec Baldwin is a great actor? Sure, because of his resume. Is he also a piece of shit in real life? Prove me wrong. After his actions, prove me wrong. So people can be more than one thing. And so everything that I have seen about the whole KK stuff, all these things, there's people who always want to jump. We know he's guilty. We know he's guilty. We know this woman's guilty. We know this person's guilty. Guilty, 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 guilty.
Let's wait for all the facts to come out.
Yep. Let's get our pitchforks and torches out again. Yep. Insanity. Absolutely insanity.
It is insanity, and unfortunately, like I said before, there is no saving Star Wars. There is no saving our popular IPs because they're already dead. The people that are in charge now have succeeded at what their main task was, and that's to destroy everything they touch.
Yeah, they just, like, we don't ever, Mike and I and Baron don't want to be a person, it's over, it's the other YouTubers, it's over, it's this. But the direction that they keep going in, even if you find some stuff within that franchise you like, there's going to be a lot of other stuff that you're going to find that, especially if you're really a true fan of these franchises, you'll be like, no. There's nothing wrong with
Geode. Geode, man. He was the pilot,
Geode,
man.
right? Geode, man. Yeah, right. Yep.
Yeah, and the ship being called the Vessel, it's like you couldn't come up with any name for the ship, so you called it the Vessel. Really?
Yeah. Star Wars is still full of a lot of goofy nonsense. I mean, even Ahsoka is full of some goofy nonsense. So Filoni taking over, you've got to have people that are saying, no, I'm sorry, but not sorry. You want to believe this is part of Star Wars, whatever. We don't want this to be canon anymore. And sure, it'd piss off people, but who cares? They'll get pissed off anyways. So about these things, you have to change it. But stuff like the Acolyte and the way that the sequel trilogy ended, how can you actually fix those things?
You can't.
You need people to actually go in and say, this can't be canon anymore. We're going to have to scrap this. That's what you have to do. And it's everything, even Family Guy. Seth MacFarlane, he was like, I'm not going to make these jokes anymore. Well, then the show starts suffering.
Making jokes that point out obvious facts and poke fun at everybody is what made the show a success.
That's right.
Same with Saturday Night Live. Saturday Night Live, at one time, believe it or not, folks, was funny. Why? Because they didn't hold back. They poked fun at everybody.
That's right.
That's what comedy is supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
It may piss you off, but guess what? There's always truth in comedy.
Yep. Exactly. That's true. There is. So, you can always go back and play Knights of the Republic. You can always go back and read stuff that made you feel good. You can always go back and do that. But where Star Wars is, even under Filoni and that woman, I can't even think of her name now. It's just they're not going in the best direction. They're still willing to do this goofy nonsense, whatever stuff. Sure, Dave Filoni's not going to come out with
Lin-Wen Brennan who's going to be the co-president.
Lin-Wen, okay. Lin-Wen Brennan, okay. It's just not, things cannot be fixed. But it doesn't help when these YouTubers, popular YouTubers, whatever, come out and say these things. And I get it. A lot of people want KK gone. So few years, oh, she's getting fired. We have the sources. She's getting fired. She's getting the sources.
Not
over and
only
over
that,
again.
I also understand another aspect of it, Cash.
Yeah.
You go with the hot topic, something that the algorithm will pick up.
Of course.
So that your channel gets the clicks, the views.
Yes. Yep.
I get that.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Doesn't mean I'm going to follow through and do it myself. No. Always wanted to separate myself from everybody else because I'm not like everyone else.
Yeah, we're just, you can't, it's not, I don't think, ever a good idea. Just blindly agree with whatever. Don't do that. It's not a good idea. And there's still people who are like, well, this company gave me this and this, so I don't look at them as they did anything wrong. I don't look at that as wrong. You can decide to buy the product or not. That's not the point.
Again, I'll use this analogy. You go to a restaurant for the first time, maybe they're having an off day. So the food and services are that well. So you go back again. And again, the food and services isn't good. But you want to give it a third try. Because, 3 strikes are out. So you go back and you give it another try and you still have a bad experience. Are you really going to go back to that restaurant after having 3 bad experiences, thinking that maybe the next time you come, in that 4th time, you're going to get the best experience possible?
Go into any store. It's the same with these companies. If the experience isn't good, why do you want to go back? Where is the customer service? Oh, it doesn't matter, right? As all these people, narcissists say, it doesn't matter. I'm so great. I'm this. I'm that. Okay, awesome. But then, great. Why aren't your profits doing well? Why isn't this doing well? Why is it stuff like, oh, I don't know, the old merchandise from Star Wars is still selling better than the sequel trilogy? I wonder. Why is that? That's so weird.
I mean, having come from a retail background, the most important thing at any job I had was making sure that you greeted the customer.
Yep.
So that the customer knows that you see them, that you're not ignoring them. And when they need help, you give them that help.
That's right. And even Disney, look, there's people still there that can do things right. I remember when the Disney store existed in my local mall. It was, the customer service was very good. It's gone now. Replaced by whatever. Even malls, like there's some nice things about malls, but a lot of the stores, it's not the same anymore. There's some.
No.
There's some, but it's not the same experience anymore. And this is not all doom and gloom. It's just not.
Malls are shutting down.
Yeah.
They don't get the foot traffic they used to get. Just like these shows aren't getting the audience that they used to get.
Nope.
And I realize it's different structure now with streaming services compared to how it was when you had shows on network TV. I mean, they're still on network TV, but you also had shows in syndication. And the numbers that the shows used to pull in. Because if you missed the episode, you couldn't just go back the next day and watch it. You had to wait until that episode aired again. But Hollywood has done this to themselves.
They've caused a lot of problems to themselves. Every company has done this. It's not, this is not just one thing. Sony has had problems. Microsoft has one. This is a list of companies. It doesn't matter if they're video game. It doesn't matter if these things are popular. It's all the stuff. The agendas they got into, baseball, everything, sports. There's still problems in sports. All this stuff that didn't need to do these things.
They didn't need to add the Ghost Runner and extra innings in baseball. They didn't need to add the DH to the National League. They didn't need to go from 15-inch bases to 18-inch bases.
No, they didn't. So it's all this stuff that continues. So KK, it's like, and I hope that a number of these YouTube channels have learned a lot from this, that just wait for the facts on anything. I don't care what side you're on. But they can't. They can't. And so a number of them, no, we know this is the facts. We know. Were you there? Did you see what happened?
I'll give you guys a perfect example of a story I waited on. And it was a story that we found out just before we went live on Pop Talk, just a couple hours before we went live. It was when Jason David Frank, unfortunately, that news came out that he was no longer with us. I didn't want to jump on it right away. So I kept looking for one news source after another to try to confirm it. Once I was able to confirm it by verifying with multiple news sources by doing an internet search, then we talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
But up until that point, I didn't want to talk about it until I knew.
Yeah. And then,
And you want to know why? Because it's part of my responsibility doing this show, making sure I have my facts straight. If I fuck up on my facts, then I want somebody to point it out to me.
Yep. It's like somebody was telling me about the whole thing. I was on X a while ago about let me show you this article about, from Rolling Stones. Oh, you mean the same Rolling Stones that said the Boston bomber was a sex symbol? That same Rolling Stones? Oh, that didn't happen, right, YouTube? That didn't happen, right?
Right.
Uh-huh, sure. The hypocrisy never ends. IGN, GameSpot, I go all along. And look at what's happened with GameStop again.
Yeah, they're having to close stores.
They're closing stores again. I thought they were having something trying to bring back, the pre-owned stuff, the older things, the selling retro stuff. No.
It was too little, too late.
That's right. Look at what happened with Yahoo, with that woman. I can't remember her name. She destroyed the company at the time. They have to fix these things. Look at what happened. A woman had to come in and start fixing FIFA because of all the actual corruption.
Mm-hmm.
It's never just about KK. It's a whole line of people.
It's a whole list of higher-ups who have screwed things up in multiple companies.
Yep. Yeah, I'm not surprised, man. I mean, I went to a Wendy's, Phil, and they didn't even get my Baconator fries right. I had to go back there. Well, how many times do we want to do that? Sometimes it's okay, but other times they don't. It's just these places should be run well. Why is Jack in the Crack, as some of my other friends and other people I've known always used to call it, running so well? Because the food is good. And the service is good.
But they brought back 99 cents tacos. Are they still $1.29?
Did they?
I don't care what those tacos were made of. They were good, especially when they were 99 cents.
Yeah.
But I mean, I have a Wendy's here, and they messed up on my order a couple of times. But that's only been a couple of times, so I've been lucky in that aspect.
Yeah. So, freaking Phil and his nonsense. But yes, Phil, you're hilarious. But no, really, it's just these companies can always be run better. And why would you not want to maximize your profits? There's all kinds of stuff. It's either the higher ups or it's these other people. Things can be fixed, but it does seem like things are like, can Star Wars and Doctor Who and a lot of this other stuff, can it ever be fixed the way it should? Not until other people get in there and say, enough of this fucking shit. We're going to actually fix things and mean it.
Not only that, Cash, you may have someone like Kathleen Kennedy stepping down and going into a producer role, but you still have to weed out the problem. There are other people associated with her that are still in positions of power that still have an influence. You need fresh ideas in there. That's what it's going to take.
Yeah.
Fresh ideas.
It is. It's going to take fresh ideas, and you need to, especially now, ask these people, what do you actually know about this franchise? What do you know, James Gunn? What do you know, Kathleen Kennedy? What do you know? What do you know, Leslie Headland, what do you know about this franchise? And people, and then of course a lot of the media people say, how dare them? How dare these people ask them? They're this, they're that, they're this. Yeah. Too bad. What do you actually know about these franchises? Tell us. What do you know?
From what we've seen in the last 14 years, Cash, they don't know
They don't
all
know
that much, even under the tutelage of one George Lucas.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it's good to see Apollome's Minion. I hope you and Simi are doing well today. Hope the roads are safe for you too.
Yeah. Yeah, I just all these companies, all these people. Why did these stores close down? Oh, I wonder. Is the customer service very good? Are they getting the traffic? Sometimes it's not just other things that they want to make excuses about. It's because these people are stupid about the way that they're running their business, about their way that where's the research? Where's this? Where's that? All kinds of stuff. You know,
we had a Champion store in my
Mm-hmm.
area at our outlet mall. It was only here for a year
Mm-hmm.
before it left.
Yep. And there's always going to be some kind of change, of course. Businesses change. Cupid's can be gone, for example, around here. They were around here for years and years. Now it's called Taco 1896 or whatever it's called. I can't remember the exact name, but it's just things change.
And not always for the better.
Nope. And I will be right back.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and get ready to wrap up the show too, brother.
All right, man. But yeah, as I said, you just always do your own research and don't just blindly listen to whatever people say. I don't care if it's us. I don't care what it is. Always do your own research. And there's a number of people who will say that's dangerous. It's dangerous because they don't want people finding out the actual truth about these things.
Yeah.
That's why it's dangerous to them.
So, Cash, if you could do me a favor and go ahead and promote yourself.
Okay. Well, Mike and I were successfully able to try out Evil West. So as long as everything works out next week on the Phantom Hooligans and on Rumble, and maybe even on Twitch, we're going to be fighting Felicity and the vampires in the Evil West game. But yeah, we're going to so that's going to be fun, and we got a level done off stream, so yeah, we'll see how it goes. But as long as everything works out, I mean, I've had minor problems before with Rumble when Baron and I were going to shut up, Phil. Yeah, too bad it isn't a 3-player game. Yeah, true. That would have been pretty cool. And too bad it's like you can only play as the same character. Like somebody else should have another choice.
Yeah, instead of playing as Edgar, who is Rentier's partner and
right,
the whole vampire project.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So we're gonna hopefully that'll be getting ready. I have again started working on some a video or two. I'm trying to. The thing is, I had worked on before with The Wicked, and it's like, oh, it's coming out of the. But the thing is, it just wasn't sounding good to me, and I can be a perfectionist, so I will do it. I will make the video over and try to fix things and this and that. But if everything goes well with the Rumble Studios over on the Phantom Hooligans and stuff, after we finish. And the Rumble channel and Twitch and whatever, we'll find another game to play together. Because unfortunately, Baron's going to be out of commission for a while. So.
Yeah, he said at the time he sent us the message that he's going to be out for 2 weeks.
Yeah,
and he's got some things that he needs to deal with, and
yeah. So but yeah. Those things, and then like the videos, and then some of the gaming stuff. I still got to do part 3 of Another Crab's Treasure. I still got to do part 2 of Hollow Knight. And Hollow Knight is a pretty unforgiving game, so if you're willing to take on the challenge, go for it. But it is still a pretty unforgiving game. So yeah. But yeah, that's what's coming up on the channel. So no, not Musk. I would hope not.
No. It's related to the passing of his father and a few other things that he has to help his mom with. So he had sent us a message last Monday saying, "Gents, I'm going to be out for a couple of weeks," and I told him, "Take as much time as you need," because I know the process after a loved one passes away. You know how long that can take. So.
We have to put Phil under the bridge.
Anybody who's lost a loved one and has to go through the process afterwards.
Yeah, rest in peace, old guy. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
But Baron knows that if he needs to talk, he knows how to get a hold of us.
That's right. Yeah, Phil, we're putting you back under the bridge, man. You know, we brought you out. You know, have a nice time.
Told you to be nice. Don't scare anybody. But anything else coming up on the Phantom Hooligans?
Nope, not right now. Just gotta get back to working on some other stuff, and hopefully it'll be good. So certainly got a hell of a lot of games and other stuff to make videos of. So yeah,
definitely. And just to let everybody know what's coming up on Pacific 4 and 4, and the time is just one set time for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and all streams on Pacific 4 and 4 is 6 p.m. Eastern. But coming up on Tuesday, I'll be playing more of Mafia of the Old Country. I think I'm getting near the end of the game. I don't know if I'm exactly, at the end yet, but I think I'm getting near the end. So I know that game's not very long as far as the story is concerned. So I'll be playing more of that Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern on YouTube and Rumble. And then on Wednesday, Cash and I welcome Helion to the stream as our special guest. And she's going to let everybody know what she has in mind for her channel. And of course, we're going to talk about a few other things like the game of baseball and spring training coming up.
Yeah, we're going to put her on the spot, so she better be ready.
Yeah.
Put her on the spot. She's going to be ready.
All right. Brandon Helion, bases are loaded. We need to get out of this inning. We're throwing her into the fire. She needs to get out of this inning. We need 3 outs. So she will be joining us for the Wednesday edition of Pop Talk at 6 p.m. Eastern, both on YouTube and Rumble. And then Thursday on YouTube and Rumble, I'll be playing more of Shinobi, The Art of Vengeance.
Yeah.
Yes. But at this time, I do want to make sure that I take the time to thank each and every one of you who stopped by tonight. Really appreciate it. And hope you like the new start time for the Sunday edition. Because I think, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, Cash, but I think this works out better for you, especially being on the West Coast, instead of having to wake up at 10 o'clock in the morning to be on the show. But of course, Helion, thank you for being here. And Prince Zaire, thank you for being here. Lord Crit of Evers Productions. Treenog, thank you for being here. DJ Ronnie G and his Turtles. Bill McCracken. We also had the lovely Lady Mist. Followed by Tree Rock Creations. Jet Sparks. It was also good to see Glenn Schroeder tonight. Good to see you, brother. You're Ron, also known as Shane. The Padawannabe. Anonymous. Do, 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 do. Anonymous. Do, 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 do.
Anonymous. Anonymous. Anonymous.
And of course, Pat Steven. Good to see you, brother. George Lucas, and Apollo Minion. Good to see you, Apollo, and stay safe out there on those foggy roads. Well, for Cash, it was an inconvenience.
It was all right. It was okay.
Can't believe Mike will change the time.
Yeah, I didn't.
He has me getting up at 10 a.m. on the Pacific.
That's all a bunch of nonsense.
On the Pacific at 10 a.m.
I got up.
On Atlantic time.
Sometimes I was tired. I didn't care. It was fine. Mike wanted to change it. I was fine with that too.
Well, I wanted it to be consistent all across the board. Instead of starting at 1 o'clock on a Sunday, and then 5 o'clock one day for a game stream, 6 o'clock another day for a stream, and 8 o'clock another day for a stream. I wanted it all to be consistent. I believe that it's time for all the streams to be on at a consistent time, but still remain on the days that they've been on. So Sundays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and with the every other week Saturday stream with the Adventure Continues. Now, that's going to be a different story for tomorrow's stream. That's only going to be on Rumble, because I did look into it if I could do the Rumble Premium stream and then also stream it over onto YouTube for channel members. No. According to their rules, I have to do it specifically and strictly on Rumble as a Rumble Premium.
He got his Rumble pin, and he's like, "Yes, sir. No, sir."
So that's what I'm going to be doing tomorrow. And right now, excuse me. Right now, I'm going to say sorry. I need to take some medicine.
Okay.
But
no, I understand, Anonymous. When you have a certain schedule and then you're staying up late, man, it is brutal. Unless you're just being sarcastic, but still, it can definitely.
But for tomorrow's stream, I'm probably going to start it at 3:30 tomorrow, with tomorrow being a holiday and everything. So I have to get 5 premium hours in for a premium stream over on Rumble. And unfortunately with that, you also have to be a premium member in order to join. So that's the part that really sucks. Mm-hmm. So I have to do it if I want to stay in the program. And well, I'm going to give it a shot. And if I'm only in the program for a month, I'm only in it for a month. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, if this stuff doesn't work out, Mike will leave. Anybody?
It's no big deal if I'm still in the program after this month. I consider myself lucky to have gotten into the program. That's not everybody does. So I'm going to see how the rest of this month goes, and if this is the only month, it's the only month.
Right.
But I'm not abandoning anybody over on YouTube.
No.
I never will.
Nope. No.
But again, everybody, thank you very much. Please make sure that you're subscribed to Cash if you aren't already. Subscribe to Baron. He may not be here, but when he gets back, I know he'll probably stream several things on his channel, some games, and he might even get back to Baron After Dark. I know that's one of the things he's been considering doing again, because he really enjoyed it. And also doing his shorts where he would give his thoughts on a few things. Give us, some education. I will post the Rumble link in Discord. I will post the Rumble link on the YouTube post section. Just know that because it's a Rumble premium stream, unless you're gifted a premium membership, you have to pay to watch. That's the thing I don't like about Rumble's program. I really don't like that at all. And if you're listening, Rumble, I'm not just saying this as hyperbole. I really don't like that feature. I think if you want people to tune in, you can still make it, an exclusive Rumble stream, but you shouldn't force people to pay to watch. And Lady Miss says no one is here. They're all at Rumble. There are people that are on Rumble that are also, on YouTube too, because they're like me and I'm like them. We don't put our eggs in one basket. We don't put our eggs in the YouTube basket, the Twitch basket, the Kick basket, or the Rumble basket. We make sure that we have a presence on any streaming platform that allows content creation. This way, we can broaden our horizons, broaden our audience. And also, I use one of them as a backup in case something happens to the main channel. And that being the Rumble channel. I use it as a backup in case something happens. If for some reason the YouTube algorithm, the YouTube bots decided Pacific 4 and 4 is no more, that's where you can find me. Well, Rumble on PC sucks, especially with the buffering and everything, the rubber banding, and their app isn't any better. I've tried watching Rumble on my phone. I've tried watching Rumble on my tablet. It's not any better. And that's not me pissing and moaning on the platform. That's me just pointing out issues I've had with Rumble. I have to bring eggs. I know you are, Lady Miss. I know you're just joking, but everybody, that's where I'll be. So look for it around 3:30 tomorrow afternoon. And again, I'll post a link to the stream. I'm gonna schedule the stream right after I end this one, and then I'll post the link. So if you want to watch, you can watch. If you don't want to watch, that's fine too. I'll see you Tuesday if you don't want to watch. And remember, on this channel, don't ever give up on me in a game, because just when you do, you might miss something. I'm not just a baseball guy. I'm an all-around guy. And also, don't put up with anybody's crap, because we all have a certain amount of time here on this earth, and there's only so much crap we're all willing to put up with. So take care.
Autobots, transform and roll out!